Jo, folk, se slišimo? Živijo. Da vas najprej malo pozdravljam. Živijo Juško, živijo Tim Katan, živijo TS Monkey, živijo Žegoren, živijo Savinčan, živijo Ana, živijo Gapinjo, živijo Vid, živijo Tim Katan, živijo Tijan Ogranšek, živijo Jaka, živijo Nik Maravič, živijo Leomar, živijo Eva, živijo Burek, živijo Mihael, živijo Nabru, živijo Lonči, pozdravljen UTB Cesar, živijo TS Mihac, živijo X-Ray, živijo Gozdar Martin, živijo Fitz Biggs! Biggs je doniral 15 evrov, what do you mean? Biggs, kdaj sem jaz začel streamiti tako, mogoče 5 sekund nazaj, what? Napisal je, guess who's back, back again, Biggs. Hvala ti za 15 evrov, da je srčkal si v chat za Biggsa. Telih 15 evrov definitivno gre jutri za pico. Chat, kogar vete, na finalih imamo vedno pico. Danes je dan 1, jutri je dan 2, jutri zmemo zmagovalce, tako da jutri imamo še pico naročimo. Da še malo pozdravim, živo Lojzek pišemo, živo We Love You Tyson, živo Juiceman, živo Patron, živo Zenkju, živo Juško. Kje si Biggs, kako si, živo SC, živo MB Gameboy, živo Flixi, živo Ljaš, živo Kapinje, v glavnem pozdravljeni vsi. Chat. Za koga kaj navijate? Večina vas vem, da je za TaySona. Da vidimo, če je še za kakšne druge. Da vidimo, Ana vem, da je za kakšnega drugega ziga. Ana, za koga si dejansko? Ana. A za Benjija navijaš? Danči. Eni so za K1nzell-a, okej. Pa če, lej, definitivno navijamo za K1nzell-a in za TaySona. Zdaj, če TaySona naredi repeat, bo to insane, chat. To je insane. Pogledaj, če pozvati, stisnite lajka. Share stream, stisnite subscribe, če še niste, da spet začnemo raz sabi. V torek je nova sezona, chat. V torek nova sezona, 12 turni stream za novo sezono. What? Out. Ok, chat, Abi je rekla, da je na Fortnite Twitterju nekaj novega zdajle. En video za sezono 6. Gremo takoj pogledat, evo. Sam da takole, full screen, cp. Nekaj je zdaj le chat, čakajte. Twitter, gremo na Twitter. Normal Fortnite. Da vidimo kaj je Fortnite Twitter. TS Mihac, 2 evra, Mato, TaySona danes. Teh Mihac, valjda da ima, hvala ti za 2 evra, hvala. Kaj so oni danes dal? Ok, musko ugasnem. Čaj, kako lahko jaz to drugače gledam? Ne moram, da je lepša slika, kdo. Evo.
What's the point of recording these logs if you're not gonna listen? We've lost control of the 0 point. Do you get what that means? You must not, because you're doing nothing. I've dedicated my life to the order. I've given everything. And for what? To just sit back and watch reality end? That's not who we are. At least it's not who I am. Not anymore. Reality log.
Ok, prvo, kar tukaj vidim, zdaj preden se začne, čakajte, bom jaz najprej, da nam bomo zamudali, bom dal tale Fortnite stream tle na levo stran, da nam bomo zamudali kakšne igre, pa gremo najprej tole zdaj malo zanalizirati. Ok, ja, čakaj, se pravi, tukaj le govori Jonesy, kako se pač ta stabilizacija tega 0 pointa, da je čist za nič zdajle, ne? Pač, ko vedete, ta 0 point vedno vrne... Pogled tega, Biggs! Biggs je doniral še 20 evrov! What? Dejno vsi srčko chat za Biggsa, lepo prosim. Biggs! Hvala ti, legenda, za 20 evrov. V glavnem, napisuje, Denotes je Fortnite god, I need coaching, hashtag Denotes je kralj. Daj hashtag Denotes je kralj v chat, kaj je tole Biggs napisal zraven. Ej, kje si te za Biggs? Hvala ti, legenda, še za 20 evrov. Holy shit. Hvala ti, legenda. Holy. Ej, v glavnem, da gremo tukaj se prav. Pač, kakor veste, če ste vedeli danes video, če še niste, si pol pogledajte kasnej. Sem dal video ven za sezono 6. Pač kaj lahko bo, da bo event v bistvu na začetku sezone, bla bla bla. Tukaj zdaj, kaj vidimo, a vidite tole, a ne? Tole je levo gor. A vas spominja kaj na to? Mene takoj spomne na neki, pa 100% je v zvezi s tem. Pač, that's a wolf skin that you get. A se spomnite, chat? A se spomnite tega skina, ko smo ga dubali? Takrat je bila še una rdeča kapica. Tako da to je definitivno s tem povezan. Pol sem videl še tega starega Jonesa, oziroma ki je bil z veliko brado. Ki je bil Neo Tilted. Se spomnite? Čakajte, lejte. Evo ga, tukaj, tle levo v spodi. Če kamero malo premaknem. Tle levo v spodi je ta Jonesi z brado. Pač tukaj vse kaže, kar se je že zgodilo, ne? Se mi zdi. Pač te dogodki, ki so bili. Pa zdaj ne vem, jaz mislim, da bo naslednja sezona insane za konec. Jaz mislim, da bo naslednja sezona res insane. Pa imam tudi občutek, da bo res zadnja sezona v chapter 2 in bo pol nov chapter. Jaz imam tak občutek. Kaj vi pravite? Kaj vi pravite? Mi kaksinjo s Paypalom, ne vem, če lahko rataš membera. Lahko s Paypalom rataš member. Ej, Čikfu, uno mapo sem videl, sam tisto, kakor jaz vem, je sam pač toliko folk da gor, ki hoče pač, kako bi bilo, če bi bile vse popularne aplikacije gor. Tole levo gor, ne vem, kaj je ta slika, če slučajno vidite. Kaj je ta slika, levo gor? Pač vsaka slika je neki, tale je spet ista slika, ka prej, iste slike se ponavljajo, no, bolj ka ne. Jaz mislim, ne, huda je, definitivno čeku. Jaz mislim, da bo res chat, res mislim, da bo to zadnja sezona v tem chapterju. Tak imam občutek, no. Pa da bo insane, jaz mislim, da to sezono zdaj nimamo nič kontenta skoraj, ampak naslednja bo pa po moje lih kontra, bolano velik kontenta. Zakaj bo ta dva finala FNCS-a? Zato, ker je 12 iger. Danes se 6 iger igra, pa jutri 6. To je zato, da je bolj zazihar, ne. 6 iger je ful malo iger, da določiš prvaka sezone, ne. 12 iger je veliko bolj zaradi tega, ker je bolj konstantno. Tam res vidiš, kdo je najboljši. Gremo na Fortnite tracker hiter. Niso še začeli drugač. Bom zdaj tako naredil, da ne bom slučajno kaj liku. Se še ne kaže. Ok, cool je. Še ne kaže nič. Se pravi, Prehipaj je 1 euro in napisal pozdravim Prehipaj, hvala ti za 1 euro, hvala. Pozdravim tudi ti. Se pravi, točkovanje je tako, kot so bila druga finala, ne? Od top 17 se pravi vse 1 točka, pa bomo top 3 6, top 2 5, Victory 5, vsak kill je 2 točki. Pol imamo pa prize pool, danes ga ni, bo pa jutr, pač jutr se konča, ne? Oba dneva se bo ta skupaj seštevala, to, da boste vedeli. In prize pool je tist, ki zmaga, dobi pač 100 jurjev, igralec dobi 100 jurjev, cela ekipa dobi 300 jurjev. Bo drugo mesto 70 jurjev, tretje mesto 45 jurjev, četrte 40 jurjev, peto mesto 35 jurjev, šesto 30 jurjev. To je vse na playerja, ne na cel trio. Top 7 25 jurjev, top 8 20, top 9 15, top 10 10 jurjev, top 15 5000, top 20 3000, top 26 2000, top 33 1000. Se pravi, garantirano ima vsak player ima garantiranih 1000 evrov, kar je še vedno insane, ampak to bo res, jaz se res komi čakam. Kaj je ta muska toliko na glas, čaki? Malo bolj potiham. Ok, tako da to. Tako da jaz sem res excited, tale pač finale je vedno najboljš gledati, tako da res insane. Ajde, potisnite like, imamo več gledalcev k lajkov, ajde, gremo zdaj na 800 lajkov, poglej moj HDM. A jaz tabi? Moj full resolution, ne vem, lahko pa pogledam, čaki. Ajde, čakaj, takole, če bom zdaj le kar dal tole semle, ker se bo itak malo začel, verjetno. Takole, musko bom gasnil, sam da neki mojčev pošlam. Takole. Tako da, zdaj bomo par stvari še poslal mojčev. Drugače, v ponedeljek, chat, v ponedeljek sem prej, ampak bojo spomini na sezono 5, ok? Spomini bojo, mojček spet dela. Sicer tokrat ima malo časa za narediti, ampak jaz še zmer verjamem, da bo zelo dober, no, tako da. Mojč, sekundica. Sam da najdem, kje imam to. YouTube. Ja, chat, a ima kdo sliko? A ima kdo sliko, da mi na Discord pošle K1nzell-a. Videl sem jo, pa sem jo pozabil shraniti, ker sem neumen. Chat, gledali bomo official Fortnite stream. Sama se prav, sam da jaz neki moče pošljem. Glej ga, Venom, Voixy doniral 5 evrov. Skorp, danes je problem starši zaradi šole, še od vedno sem te hotel podpreti, vsakeč, ko začneš streamom mi polepšaš dan, ostani tak. Ej, Venom, Voixy, sam koncentriraš se na šolo, poslušaj starše, upam, da je vse cool. Hvala ti za 5 evrov, pa hvala ti za zelo lep sporočil. Hvala ti, daj srčko chat za Venom, ali poprosim. Venom, hvala ti, živa Mr. L2 Player. Matic says, drop spots pro. Aha, okej. Oje, živo Domzi? Ana, zakaj jokaš? Čakaj. Dejte vsi srčke za Venom Voixy očela, porozum. Venom Voixy, hvala ti res za 5 evrov legenda, hvala ti full. Kje imam to model? Okej. A jaz lahko to pošljem vse. Ej, Mojč, uploadil bom na uno mapo, ki ti šeram, okej? A gledaš stream? Napiš mi v Discord, če gledaš stream. Ti bom poslal uno mapo, ki ti šeram že. Okej. Mojč, ti bom celo mapo kar poslal. Ne vem, koliko so točen veliki, ampak več je, kakor tisto, definitivno, ampak. Pošiljam ti vse, kar imam. Zdajle se uploada gor. Sam imam mi zdaj kilobajtov jemlje, upam, da bo stream delal. Čakaj, Venom Voixy je še ratu biz, dejte, hvala ljubi za Venom Voixy, Venom Voixy, pozdravljeno, bistveni, hvala ti nekaj support, in pa Mr. Denis je doniral 1 euro, zakaj ne moram postati member s Paypalom? Ne vem, zakaj YouTube nima tega, da member s Paypalom postaviš, pojma nimam, upam, da bojo to naredili, no. Prvi je 100 evrov vsak, ja, vse sem rekel, Jakob, tisto je vse na playerja. A stream je zdaj malo slabši, se je zdaj v redu stream, okej. Uploadu sem, pa se je poznal. Mojč, imaš zdaj gor. Imaš gor. Poveča dela. Okej. Jaz bom zdaj malo jedel. Leči ne igra, Leči ni prišel naprej. Ne vem čisto vseh triotov, ki so prišli naprej, ker ne moram zdaj pogledati. Ja, rekli smo, da pogledamo drop spote, a ne? Rekli smo, da pogledamo drop spote, a ne? Čak, en je rekel... Kaj damo? Fortnite, drop spots, MNCS, finals. Ne Twitch drops. Tole, evo. Drop spots pravijo, sem najdu, Matic, sem najdu. Da vidimo, kam kdo dropa. Kakor vem, TaySona je nekontestan, isto K1nzell, isto Thomas HD. Tako da to zna biti zelo zanimiv. Živan, že saksida. Kravata ven. Kravata ven. Ami, ti si buksal. Donacija je bila. Vse sem se zahvalil za donacijo. Žežak, hvala. Kaj je kamera? Čakaj malo. Evo. Zakaj govorite? Zakaj ne pišejo kamera? Jutr bo pica, čat, jutr je pica. Sergej, ne vem na pamet. Čat, malo se bo začel, sam hitro pogledamo drop spote. Ok, se pravi, TaySona, Savage, pa iDrop dropajo solo v tilde. Zdaj, lahko se spremeni 12 iger je. Folk bo zamenil drop spote, ker bojo hotel boljšo odigrati in tako naprej. Pol K1nzell, Voixy pa Decepto landajo Coral, so nas včeraj tam šital. V Deal Reason Now imajo sami Sveti. CR, Leo, ZQ imajo Stealthy. Thomas, Anas, Flick so sami na tem spotu, kar je insane, ker imajo... Ne, tukaj ni upgrade bota, ne? Dobro, imajo pa P90, pa imajo vse mece. A lahko tle upgradaš chat? Nisem zihar. Ej, hvala ti, pomfrit, da si upravil kodo ScorpLZ v item shopu. Benji, Umplify mecov sem le landajo. Pol teli Pink, Stompit, pa Trulex imajo tle split. Splitajo si... Kaj lahko? Kaj se zdaj vprašal chat? Prva igra, kar gremo gledat. Prva igra. Zdaj dam member only chat, ok, zato da ni spoilerjev. Tako da poslovite se, pol bom dal za vse možno.
That console squad going down, obviously all of them playing on PC now,
but
had
not
much
jelly.
success in the past. Adjustments will be made for game 2, but yeah, for this trio in specific, absolutely unleashed, as you can see on the mini map.
Ja, K1nzell trio je kontestan in Sharka, nekak, ja. Recimo, da je, ja.
These guys have had to fight for the right to play on the island. This time their chains are broken. They are loose to play.
Oj, zaenkrat stream zgleda super.
When these guys are uncontested at their drop spot,
Kaj?
it is a completely different game.
I just uploaded emojis for Voixy.
Meanwhile,
That's
though,
why, like,
if we're going on
bitrate
that theme
went
of contested
like,
versus
or
uncontested, Steamy Stacks on paper had 3
Oh,
different
he wasn't
teams
for
in and
video.
around it, and right now there's always going to be a fight for Ref's Guard and Dreda and Scram to win.
Pač tukaj,
And now we're talking about how stacked this is.
jaz mislim, da Tore K1nzell napisal je pozdravljen tudi ti, ko ne hvati za €1. Jaz mislim, da tist, ki bo landil solo spote, bo zmagal. Mislim, da je zelo težko zmagati, če si kontesta na dropu. Ker če nisi kontesta, imaš toliko več luta in vse. Ja, okej, če si kontesta, pa ubiješ trio, imaš od tega triota 6 točk, pa Storm Surge tege, ampak zaradi tega lahko, kdaj pač ne boš vseh drop spotov zmagal. Mecov nimaš, kdaj se zavleča fight, tako da ne vem. Preki fight, že plubam. Če 4 evre, prehifaj, lol, prahifaj. Kaj, a prah moram reči, prahifaj, a tako? Ali PR, ehifaj. Fuck, jaz ne vem, hvati za 4, ampak sorry. Sorry.
Green tags here against Robnik.
No, like Clipsy, ne.
This is the kind of start that you want
Anžel se ksida, bom.
You do not want to kind of buckle right here at the start of your
Čaj,
journey.
a se vam je odpalal danes? Koliko vi donirate? What the fuck? Ne, bi 2 evra. Kaj narediš, če TaySona spet zmaga FNCS? Mislim, naredil nam kaj nič, ampak definitivno ima TaySona. Jaz mislim, da ima TaySona 25% šanse, da zmaga spet. Šinke je še rato, malo bi Šinke poznaj nazaj. Zdaj hvala ljubi membri za Šinketa, prosim, v chat. A 3 timi so v Steamiju? Ne, niso 3, 2 sta. A pa so 3, fuck. Bomo pol pogledal še enkrat.
Basically, you win the drop spot up, you basically gain a little bit of momentum completely and steal it away, lock it up from the enemy team. They get so much more.
Šinke, hvati še enkrat, poznam.
They don't actually get to come back.
O, rip, jake, kar laptop ti srknil. Vas, živo, Filip?
So much more confidence in the rest of the games.
And not to mention, that is not the only contested drop. We have Colossal Coliseum as well as Retail Row. We're keeping an eye on all the action here. Now we have Julix and Charentos with alongside
Pač fora je, da
Flecken. And this
Tomas HD pa te bi mogli biti kontestani v Dirtiju, ampak jih noben noče kontestati. Oni so vsi zamenjali spote, 3 timi bi mogli biti tam. Pa so vsi zamenjali, ker jih je toliko strah njih. Ale, Mark, ne, Beast je za 5 evrov. 5 evrov je. Za 25 evrov je Mega Beast. Ja, 50 evrov je Chef Beast. Za 10 evrov je pa... Pa je za 10 evrov čat ime. A je veliki Beast. Mali Beast, Beast, veliki Beast, Mega Beast, pa Chef Beast. Let's go, Karate mi. Tudi ti pozdaj nazaj, če si tam z dobo zmaj. Dajte tudi en welcome back za Karate mi. Jaz se ga kaže nov shotgun. Ok, Tilam, bom pol videl. Ajde, zdaj vidim, zdaj itak K1nzell, TaySona, te se itak early game na boja fajtal. Čakaj, on le viši, jih flanka ungelga modela. Jaz mislim, da ga flanka. Vašima lahko orang tle laser na kikotu. O, palo ga je snajpo. Zdaj mora paziti, da ga ne bo pušal, ker je sam tukaj v zadnji. G-Shark, ti imaš tudi mnogo zmaja. Poznaj tudi ti nazaj, G-Shark. Gledaj se še z G-Sharka, welcome back, živo bak, živo Angelo.
These are going to be huge. We already saw in Dreda's trio kind of condition their spot already 1-0
Lega, Leo Mark, še enkrat toliko pa boš dobil novega zmajčka.
So far, it's a stalemate.
Kaj mini-mi? Zakaj pa ne vidim mini-mija? Ej, mini-mi, sorry, nisem te opazil, pozdravljen. Sniki, novi event bo tako, kot je nova sezona. Mini-mi, oprosti, nisem videl. Pač vse provam pozdraviti, sploh memberja.
These guys have a huge
Evo tale fight.
any type of peek outside these builds from
Pač me edin sred, pač TaySona pa seč, pa ti imajo lahko edin probleme s Storm Surgeom, ki jih nobene kontesta.
break it down or give up at all. You got to remember.
Pa vse so dobri, ampak kdaj imam občutek, da jih kdaj lahko tudi Stormstars zaserija. A ja, folk, 12 iger je, kar je zelo velik. Živijo seba. Živijo Max, živijo Nixon. Cvetač, jo, malo pozno sem pisal domače branje, pa sem na mizi zaspal. Ni pa enega cvetača. Živijo Andraš, pozdravljen. Živijo Ženika. Ekšli na eniro. Ja se recimo od Bad Sniperja 3 so bili neki pametni pa kontestali TaySona Soltijo, pa zaradi tega niso kvalali. A misliš, da zaradi tega niso kvalali? Ne vem, 3 tedne sem imel časa. Uaj, ni lik zaradi tega, misliš? Sam ja, mislim tudi. Turulek se igra, ja, Turulek se igra, živijo Šenke.
Hey, you're talking about Colossal Coliseum, the way that people like to come there late, post up on the walls. One of the reasons the Voixy racks and traders aren't really pushing.
Ej, o tem govorimo, ne? Tisti timi, ki ScorpLZ-ajo, ko vidite, tale fight se zdajle vleče, pač prvi krog se bo zaprl, pa se še vedno fajtajo. Kar pomeni, da v tem času, ko bi oni lahko polutali, imeli max materijale, bo imeli zelo malo materijalov, ko bojo končali fajta, ne? Imaš točke, ampak če nimaš mecov, tukaj endgame ne moraš odigrati. Ajde, pol, gremo do Jure Lajko. Če zdajle vsi stisnete like, ajde, pokažite, da lahko pridemo tako v zdaj v 10 sekundah na Jure Lajko. Vsi stisnete like, smo takoj na Jurja. Instantno. Aj, pa vsi stisnete like. Niste še vsi stisnili. Lega, Biggs! Biggs, še 20 evrov, what? Ja, te se tudi fajtajo dolgo, ko se... Biggs je doniral 20 evrov še, what? Ej, Ati, ali poslušaš kartice, da doniriram skor po 20 evrov, what the fuck? Biggs, holy shit. On se ti je odpalal, dajte prosim srčka v chat za Biggsa, holy shit. Ti imaš tudi noga zmajčka, Daki. Insane, pozdravljam tudi ti nazaj, Daki, pozdravljam nazaj. Upam, da YouTube naredi, da vsi, ki ste membri, pa kaj še ga postanete, če niste takrat na streamu, da lahko pritisnete, da pokaže, da ste rata spet bist. Sinke, povej, kako si imel? Kaj si imel prvič YouTube member? Biggs, hvala ti res, pač insane support. A Flik je umrl, nisem videl, okej? A teli se bojo fajtali tele predolg. Pač nič ne bojo... Nema, vidiš, tale ima 56 buildov, kar definitivno ni beda, ne? Ampak to je še vedno 1/3 buildov, ki jih rab. Voixy je dubu nok. Voixy je dubu nok, chat.
Just to give you an idea what's happening on the other side.
No, Jelly, imaš to, verjamate. Cene si bil. Sinke, to, fuck, ne spomnim se. Jaz se doskrat drugač bolj po slikci, sam mogo bi videti, sorry. Voixy dubo en kill, to je lepa, chat. Arizona! A, nisem videl, Arizona je enako. Se moramo pol moramo drop spote še enkrat pogledati, da malo vemo, kjeri se bojo doskrat kontestali.
And then why is this retail fight so slow? If that's the question you're asking, just take a look at that zone. Everyone from the left side has to move
Pikachu Biggs,
towards retail, towards the desert. Dirty has to actively move as well.
Biggs!
Meanwhile, these guys are in zone. They can take this fight, Sancho, for 4 more minutes if they want to, right? They are chilling. But at the same time,
Biggs je napisal, ni mi posodo, samo jo pa ukradel. Fucking Biggs, ej. Ej, Biggs, hvala. Pač nekako je se zahvalim, da nos gleda, kada nisem hvaležen, res, ker je, to je insane velik denarja. Holy shit. Pač res. Da je srčko čas za Biggsa. Biggs, pač insane si, res hvala ti za vas support. Hvala vsem za support, no, res. Bog, zdaj, ko bo nova sezona, ne pozabi uporabiti kode ScorpLZ v item shopu. S tem mi pomagate nerealno veliko in zaradi tega lahko tudi giveaway delam. Tako da, z novo sezono bo 5 Battle Pass giveaway na mojem Instagramu, če me še ne followate, pejte followat. In pa, če boste kupali Battle Pass z mojo creator kodo, pejte na moj Discord, klicaj Discordu chat, pa vam skoro bo da link. Pa te objavite sliko, da ste kupali Battle Pass z mojo kodo, pa boste del giveaway, kjer boste 2 zmagovalca za 10 evrov PaySafe, da povrnem tistim, ki kupite Battle Pass z mojo kodo. Sakter, vala da, more biti Hrvatka, more biti. Veliki finale. Ok, Šinke, to se pa spomnim. To se pa spomnim. A ti, Cat, če se je že nekaj zgodil, pa da ne vemo, ne povedati, please. Amplify je dubo kill chat. Od Benja trio. Te se še kar fajn. Čak, zdaj že tretji trio prišel tle. Tretji trio je prišel. A živite, o tem vam govorimo, ne? Zdaj Snazy, pa Swizy, pa Endelex so zdaj prišel, ampak oni imajo mece, oni lahko tle third party, ne? Pa tege iščejo. A v kodi nimajo nič mecev. Pač to je ful slabo. Zato se mi zdi, da bo zmagal unka, ki ni kontesta na dropu. Eden od unih trio to bo zmagal. Ker je K1nzell, pol je TaySonov trio, Thomasa trio, Rizona trio. Pač dost trio to je, no, ki sami lendajo.
That's going to be a prime position where Storm Surge Tigers are going to be able to poke into this fight. Let's get close and personal here.
Oh, Wishy-washy knock-on.
They're holding on. Grid to grid.
Wishy-washy, kjer ime model. Kaj, a to, a Benja ni v igro vrgal, a ja? A to si hotel povedati. To je slaba. Znor, zaenkrat so še živi, no. Ken je dobil knock.
In this engagement, their fireworks are popping off in Retail Row. It's taking me flashbacks all the way down to Season X.
I thought I also predicted, you know, properly.
O, ej, super Svektor, lik za spomine bo pol. Lik za spomine bo Svektor, ki jih moram uploadati danes zvečer. Ne, v nedelo zvečer, jutri zvečer. A crashal mu je? Slaba. Slaba, kje si prijel, da ga živa mogli? Ja, Rizon vem, da je umrl. Trulex je dobil 2 kila. Trulex dobil 2 kila. Ja, te so zdaj... Misliš, da... Ima bandage tam na Diablo. Možno, da malo preživi sam. Folk jih bo holdil. Jaz mislim, da je GG za njih. Verjamem, da jo preživel. Nismo še nič videli TaySona pa te gora, ne? Kako je TaySonu, nič ne veva. Evo ga, Trulex, Ping pa Stompy. Scrum, Remsgar in Dritar rotirajo. Te lendajo v Steamija drugač, tako da so očitno zmagali, pa je tam pa šli stran. Tam še pol sira, moram malo pojesti. Gleda tega Bigsa, no kaj boli. Ja.
All these Titan teams, the teams that Recent 11 were talking about to look forward to, had basically a new challenger at the door. And right now, none of those Titans have fallen, other than Click that you said might have gotten knocked. Might be back up at some point, but so far, all those new underdog type teams have somewhat failed the test. You know, Andretta making it off of Spawn. Says the Analex also pushing through Caddy. They had possibly a little bit of contestation there too. Picked up an Elan.
Jaz tako na piku bil že headshot sniper.
One thing I definitely have to point out, we saw what's happening at Lazy Lake. Trulex's trio is there. That
Ej, Storm Surge ne bo. Tako ne bo Storm Surge.
Most likely they will. They love to go to dead
Jansko je direkt 70 playerjev živih.
So they're currently sitting in this close
Yeah,
to the center
over
of
70.
zone 3. And if they get center and they don't have to make crazy rotations, watch out for them to fight for height. They were able to get 2 victory royales.
A sem že zamudil Storm Surge? A ne, nisem ga. A sem ga že zamudil, čak, sej ne vem. Zdaj nisem bil skoncentriran na Storm Surge. Max, pica bo jutar, Jutar za veliki finito, za finale dan 2.
The power now is more so outside the POIs and in the hands of the players. Sancho did mention an RPG.
Evo, Thomas, Flick, Ana so vsi živi, tam ne rotira, evo ga, K1nzell, veliki Deceptos. Živo Vilinc, pozdravljen. Vidmar je rato mali bist, Vidmar. Pozdravljen med biste, hvala ti, da supportujete memberi, hvala ljubi za Vidmarja, prosim. Pozdravljen, hvala ti za support, legenda. Hvala ti. Biggs, pica brez gobi, ja, za pijačo pa verjetno Coca-Cola, ker drugega nimajo tam. Ej, Vidmar, hvala ti še enkrat, pozdravljen. Pozdravljen, v bistvu, pa še za 5 evrov je doniral. Chat, kaj se dogaja danes, ste vi insane? Prav mogo sem postati member, da lahko pišem, ojoj. Ja, Vidmar, ko imamo za turnirje, da folk ne spojla pa to. Pa ob nedeljah, ki je member Sunday, a ne, da pač če ne igram z memberi, pa gledamo turnirje, da imajo memberi nek plus. Ampak, ej, hvala ti še za 5 evrov, legenda, hvala ti, srčke za Vidmarja. Hvala ti, holy.
Look at the way people are lined up. Sancho, it's like we're ready to go.
Nice. Vsak, da ta je unta zadnja, ne? Je od tako line up, ga prvemu zadnjemu, ne? Kaj sem ti takrat poslal. Nice. Hvala ti, res. Hvala ti. To bo insane, jutri ga lahko uporabo. Kaj mi?
Verox goes down, doesn't make the cut. Has to get dropped out of the line. You can't cut all the way towards the front.
Lega Bigs. Kje si vesel?
In those previous semi-finals, high ground domination, but the thing is, who can really have height? Who will be, as you said, ahead of that line?
Kako mislite, da bo drugač? Memberi pa moderatorji, ko lahko pišete. Mislite, da bo eni zmaga z 100 plus točka ali da bo tako full bliss? Jaz upam, da bo full bliss, da bo bolj zanimiv. Ne, Kotnik definitivno vzamem klasiko brez zgob. Mogli, jaz nimam nobenega deleja za donacije, sam pora je, da super chat ima z delejem. Če nekdo donira preko linka v opisu, pač pride, a ne, ti ne veš, kdaj je on doniral, pa pride. Tukaj pa super chat je pa vedno delejem. Full bliss mislite, da bo? Janis. Misliš, Čikvo? Evo, Storm Surge. Niso še nič TaySona pokazali, tako da ne vemo, kako jim gre na Storm Surge. Kila še niso dobili, mislim, da. Mislim, da še niso dobili kila.
You can see this number fluctuating like a heartbeat, up, down, and it's getting faster as well. Because people are getting nervous, they're getting anxious. You want to be at least 200, 300 above. That's a very comfortable space.
Yeah, najbolj
We're already taking a look at zone. There's only one team dead center. They're gonna have to make some crazy rotations, but you're right. All the people here on the edge of zone, I've noticed in doing VOD reviews, a lot of trios are comfortable fighting here, but as you see, there's not a lot of moments of opportunities to get hits, and that RPG goes right against Thomas HD's trio here, who are 19 below Thomas connects.
Ne, Bigs, lahko pišejo tisto, kar vidimo na screenu. Thomas HD, evo ga TaySona. Ej, imajo en kill, imajo en kill. Imajo en kill. Savage je dubo kill. Dva killa imajo. Nice, nice, nice. Dva killa. A so še enega dubal? Nice. 4 kile imajo, chat. 4 kile, let's go. Hvala ti, X-Ray, kje si Tristan? Naslednja sezona, če bo spet... Andraš, trio FNCS je cel let. Cel let je trio FNCS, Epik je že povedal. Zato, da je skozi konstantno. Tako da leto 2021 je skozi trio FNCS. Živo, G-Shark. Zdaj sam ne smejo biti polezerani in lepo rotirajo. TaySona krekan. Chillat morajo.
Very calculated box fight to a crazy bouncer rotation. The whole server gets active. Cammy steals height away from majority of people moving towards the zone. That middle true before it's not going to be there either.
Ne smejo biti preveč greedy za kile. Chillat morajo. Rabijo endgame. Naj se do euro 97 je napisal lol. Lol. Andraš, cashcap pa ne vem. Sam predem, da je pač. Cashcap bojo tudi triosi še vedno zaradi tega, ker je to edini trening, ki je lahko nekako primerljiv z FNCS-om. Ne, Vesa, po tem ustavu ne bom skakal preč. Dober stop vreden. Venom, zdaj, kadar so turnirji, je member sign, da je v bistvu to fora, da je member only chat. Drugač pa naslednjo nedeljo igram z memberi. Naslednjo nedeljo igramo z memberi. Spet po dolgem cajtu, ja. Pač kadar je FNCS, če hočete biti memberi za to, da imate šanso zaigrati z mano, se vam ne splača, ker je pač cel mesec. Živam že. Rulex ima res 5 high, ja. Pa dober height imajo. Pač čist dober skonektan. Pa placementi se so lik začeli. Vsak placement je ena pika zdajle.
Even though they are speaking really loud, it is Andretta's Rescard Scram trio. This is where they want to
Flik
be.
je dobil kill na Ugveju.
With a full box tarp. Expect this trio right here, right now to start cooking up. Because we're just in getting out placements. We're in a top 15.
Sami truje ste lahko zmaga tu igro. Pač bolan height imajo, bolan height.
Rotating all the way in. It is just Matzo and Amplify.
Ajdrop. Ajdrop edini živ. Oh.
Have zone with Rescard and Andretta.
Ajde, Ajdrop, klači to.
But now everyone's colliding near the back. Trulex has
Thomas je dobil kill.
all the way on height.
Ajdrop je dobil knock.
Bottom right side you can see advantage. On the top right you can see disaster, but Ajdrop saves
Ajdrop je dobil. Ajdrop je ubil Disiptosa.
Now Pink has another connection. These guys have built two
Sade.
different gateways, bridges
K1nzell še živ.
across the entire map. No one can rock them down. They have the only RPG in the game, but just one rocket.
Seeing in the feed, Hen and Stacy are getting some knocks here and some elims here. Pink
Pa že Disiptosa je ubil Ajdrop.
Pizza here in the elim with the assistance of the Storm. This is going to be a huge game and a huge start from
Insane
Trulex
height.
here. Not a lot of people have them in the predictions here. Everywhere in
Vadil
social
tu če
media.
živ.
But Armor the RPG is definitely going to have a save. Vidil picks up an elim on down. Now Paco, Raxon, Queasy, they're now going to face the fire here. But my question is, does Trulex have
Thomas
enough build to
je
hold this
knoku
hype
Vadila. Novo je knoku Anasa.
Because the Rockets are now down 2. Expended everything to make sure Intellex can't actually reach that mountain. Down below, Cammy goes
Čaj,
down.
a Ajdrop umrl, nisem videl.
Your screen right there is trying, but Hen denies him existence in this server.
A team wipe ne, nisem videl.
Also taking big trades and going down. Janice
Janis 2 killa.
and gets into the zone. Scram also on the bottom right of your screen.
Ajdropa ne vidim več, po mojem umrl vmes, ko nismo videli.
Making sure this is the most difficult game any low ground player can play inside Europe.
Thomas HD picking up some great elims and knocks.
Od K1nzell-a trio je tudi mrtev. Ja, ni šans, da ne zmagajo Trulex pa tole prvo igro.
Having 7 elims and so far 28 points. Can they walk away with the victory out? It is the top 3 placement is when those bonus points rack in so much here. So the jump between 4th and 3rd place is
Všeč mi je, da so zrita, da nič ne šteka, ful dober dela, ful dober dela. Zanimivo je gledati, dejansko ne šteka nič. Janis knokan.
There it is.
Bullies on high ground, absolutely, and they're just rattling down.
Ja, zmagali so. Ni šans, da ne zmagajo tega.
Goes down. Paco and Raxo, they're trying to survive, but how long can they actually live? 3 different people dropping beams, heavy ARs, and every item alike. A harpoon trying to bring them away from godhood, but it's not possible towards the low.
Trulex je knokan. Pa delajo. Trovajo. Ok, dobro, so zmagali na koncu, so zmagali. Ajde, zdaj vas pustim zapora, ajde vsi GG v chat. GG's, gremo lestvico pogledat. Slovenci zdaj niso, mislim, niso. Še zmer so performali, ampak... A? Valorant hal praviš, ko pa rabiš za Valorant Bix? Ne, ja bi pol vid. Oj, se pravi, ok, gremo pogledat zdajle. Gremo hitro pogledat, ajde vsi GG v chat, vsi GG v chat. Ajde, če stisnite like, stisnite like. Pa subscribe, valda. Oj, se pravi, prvo igro so zmagali, kot smo videli, Trulex, Pink 7 pa Stompy, 50 točk so dobili, 10 killov so imeli. Tako da, zelo dobra prva igra, definitivno na dobri poti. Drugi so Queasy, Paco, Raxo, pa so Hen, Janis, Ugvej, tretji. Pol imamo Amplify, Matzo pa Benji so četrti. Flik, Anas, Thomas HD, peti. Vadil Nova, Rizon, 22. Light, Story, Slide, 1 euro. GG, TaySona pa K1nzell. Pa šle, 11 igre še čet, to se toliko lahko spremeni, kaj bi. Pa TaySona je tweetno, da je umrl od fall damage-a na bouncerju. To vem, da je bug, tako da slaba. Ampak lej, ena igra od 12 ni prevelik problem, no. Revsgar, Andreja, te so 8, koga imamo še kaj? Evo, TaySona, Ajdrop pa Savage so 11, 16 točk. To še vedno ni slabo, ne? Pač imeli so 6 killov, kar sploh ni bad. 6 killov sploh ni bad. Pač niso imeli, bili so 14, ker so sam 3 placementi, ampak lej, zaradi teh killov niso neki full v zadnji, no? Pač ena igra pa so že v igri. Kaj mi tih sedi 14? Malo še kakšnega taska za pogled. Aja, K1nzell-a moramo še najdati. Čaj, K1nzell pa te mora biti tudi nekje gor. Čakaj. Čeprav mislim, Ajdrop je ubil
in that end game, right? They were in such a good position going into that.
Deceptosa. Evo, 20 so. Sam 3 točke imajo. En kill so imeli. Ne, niso imeli killa. Niso imeli killa. Pa so sam knock tam dubal. Sam knock so dubal pol. Niso unga finisha tam dubal. Tako da oni morajo definitivno boljše odigrati. Pač glede to, kam landajo, killov no imeli velika. Zdaj, če pogledamo drop spota še enkrat. Se pravi, oni sam landajo, ne? Zdaj pač lahko, da jih te pušajo, sam te jih velikrat novijo pušali zgor, po moje, no? Oni so prej knockali Rizona, ampak so očitno, možno da je bilo na deleč, nismo videli, kaj je bilo. Da vidimo, kjeri so še kaj. Da vidimo, kakšni taki, ja, tukaj dva tima landata, ja, ne v Slurpija, v Steamija grejo 3 timi, to je pač neumno. En tim, vsaj en tim se mora odločiti, da grejo drgam. Vsaj eden. Dej, a nisem bili v... Čas, so šli pol teli iz tukaj rotirali sem, ali kaj, ne vem. Tle so se fajta, v retailu sta bila 2 tima. V retailu sta bila 2 tima. Tukaj je sam en napisan, tako da eni so spremenili drop spot. Zakaj morate biti odprti sem v zaporu, zato da folk ne lika, kako en igra, zato ker je delay. Andilex, Snazy, pa te so tukile. V Catiju. Voixy. Voixy je ne pozdravimo, ker je tečen. Pozdravljen, Voixy, pozdravljen. Čakaj. Kvizi pa te landajo sem, okej. Ta spot definitivno ni toliko slab spet. Počeo dobijo upgrade bota. Voixy, pozdravljen, kako si Voixy? Okej, nice. A ne vem, kako dolgo bomo zdaj čakali, ne vem, a gremo Warzone stream ta cajt. Da, gremo, ta cajt, ka čakamo. Ta cajt, ka čakamo, okej? Bom da odkole potihamo v zadje, pa damo Warzone stream. Ta cajt, ka čakamo na igro številka 2. Bog drugače ne pozvali stisniti lajka, stisniti subscribe. Cilj nam je 30 ur v sabo čim prej. Pa tudi za 30 ur imamo pol event, 30 ur dodatna ura. Vas ta denar bo šel, bo namenjen za studio. Za ta event se tudi vi odločili, ste ga zelo radi, mislim, hoteli imeti. Drugač pa, čet, danes sem jaz od pol 10 zjutraj pa do 5 sem pač očiju pomagal, ker smo pucali klet pa vse, smo stvari nesli za cesto pa to, ker bo pač kaj tak vsovan odpad. In studio, skoraj vse že ven, pač polet upam, da se bom lahko vselil in jaz mislim, da bo res insane. Ko mi čakam, da začnem delati na studiju, res ko mi čakam. Prvo igro so zmagali Turlex pa njegov trio. Tako da jaz res ko mi čakam. Jaz mislim, da bo insane. Tudi content bo pač pol... Pač lepo bo vse zgleda lepša, ne pa če bom kupil VR, pa to bo insane. Zdaj, kaj si pokazal vse mail, nima veze, če te maile pokažem. Se nič, pač, folk itak lahko zvem moj mail, kjerkoli če. A veš. Ja, Benji Fishu je crashal, to sem videl, ja.
Well, game 1, a lot of times people have changed their drops from what they initially were planning, right? People plan their drop spots out, but you never know really where anyone else is going. So when you change coming into that game 1, this is the only time you actually figure out what's going where. So I think we're going to see, we saw Knifer's team leave.
Sam Navijamo, baraba, okay? Sam Navijamo skoči.
On another team, which I don't really think was the play to start of that one. They had the west side of Mickey Meadows completely uncontested, it seemed like, and they disengaged from that. So potentially they're going to notice that coming into this game and hopefully kind of change that up. And I swear, other teams will be doing the same thing that didn't perform off spawn.
Yeah, it's about being able to make those quick on-the-fly adjustments, and I think the teams who have the ability to do that will be incredibly successful. Some of the teams who, like you said, Adam, right, have sort of changed things up from their initial plans. Some of them might reevaluate things and say, hold on a minute, why are we changing things up? Things didn't work out, so maybe we got to get back to that initial plan we had.
Well, let's see if our teams can do it this time around. We are game 2 ready, and Shayo and Sancho waiting in the wings. Gentlemen, let's do this thing. Here we go, game 2. Let's do it.
After game 1 in total, there were definitely plans thwarted, and people who stayed alive put their spots down on the map. Some under steamy. Retail, though, it's kind of different. Still, no one knows who controlled that spot, but the winners from game 1 landed over
Evo me.
Hydro 16, it was Stompy.
Naslednja igra že. Why did you stop?
Game away with explosive fashion.
Če, naslednja igra je. Dar, nimamo kaj. Nimamo kaj, naslednja igra je že.
Game 2 being a duos type.
Aj, nač, poslovite se, grete v zapor. Čez 5 sekund.
Going to first and second here in this season, so no strangers there in that regard. But what's going to be interesting to see, like Reese pointed out, can Stompy, Trulex, can they be able to be able to
Oni si splitajo, ne, da oni imajo rocket launcher pa to. Rocket launcher v tej meti je insane.
We'll see. I think they can, considering
Taj
that
song
what they
sector.
like to do, like I mentioned, they go for storm surge tags. If they get a box fight early or something, they could rotate in and they get center. Armed with that RPG, they're looking good. On the same side, it's so interesting as well.
TaySona je 11 kills od
They kind of
20.
have the same kind of play style. They like to play for center. And what was so interesting, I remember Storm Surge raining down on this trio, and they did not falter. So that's going to be the question.
Juško nobene bo razložil.
Is if they play center, can they hit those shots?
Mislim, da bo
that they
RPG
need?
še naslednja
Because
sezona.
if their aims off in any of these
Ej,
matches,
pojma nimam, kaj
they're
bo
going to have
naredil
a
naslednja
rough
sezona.
time making the rotation, Shayo.
Pač to sezono mi je všeč, da je lahko sam en, sam še zmer, unka ga ima, ne, sicer tistka ga ima, mislim, lahko jih je več, no, če od moškega Sadriča, ampak unka ga ima, lenda sama, ne. Hydro. Meni se zdi, da Trulex pa te boje imel lahko vedno hajta, ne, zaradi rocket launcher, če dobro odigra, mislim, vedno ne, ampak, Maj sem rekel.
What really worked well for Amplify's trio is that
Stopal so si
Amplify and
jaka.
Nacho, they have the ability to do well as a duo in these stacked
Evo, te so
games
spet
as
tle
well.
v Steamiju.
So if Benji goes
Ja,
down for
trije
some
timi
reason,
v
Nacho
v
Amplify
Steamiju.
are more than capable for
Zakaj?
having
Zakaj
those,
se en
like,
tim ne
dead
odloči, da
side
grejo
rotations,
drugam?
weak side rotations in a
Chat
condensed
failali smo.
area. They make those smart
Živijo,
moves.
Bagi.
They don't get into any kind of craziness, and that's why they're in fourth place going into this fight.
Still over time, that consistency, I don't think matters as much in this format where the top 3 is the heaviest, right? If you want to win overall today,
Je prostor za toliko timov. Pač veliko prostorov je, kjer je folk sam. Pač Tilted je sam en tim. Retailka sam en tim. V Dirtiju je sam en tim. V Stealthiju je sam en tim. V Coral Castlu je sam en tim. V Svetiju je sam en tim. Tle pa so 3 timi. Ego. Sam, zakaj bi igral na ego, Matic? Ne vem, zakaj bi na ego igral v velikem finalu. Igraš na to, da imaš čim boljš. Definitivno, če so 3 timi tle, boš da greš drgam, po moje.
It's really different over here so far. I was wondering why I saw a new name. It's a whole different team that landed over at Steamy Stacks again. So,
kaj, drug tim je zdaj sam landal. A ja, what?
And it's even harder to fight.
And this is not an easy team. Malibuka and Shizo and Mayhem are the #1 finishes in their heat in that third one. They had 2 victory royales in their 6 games. They walked away with 155 points, and they did really well placement-wise, and that's the trio that you do not want to deal with as well. So, hey, Malibuka, and the greatest stat that I've seen so far throughout the entire time is that if you came in first place in your heat, the chances of you are winning the FNCS championship go really high. So that goes for Egram, that goes for iDrops trio, that goes for Malibuka and Flick.
Mini Frenzy je prazen, mislim, da im bi lahko bil tam landal. Mini Frenzy, kaj je to?
It wasn't really for the
Ma ni šans, Jaka,
what
kako.
we usually see in an FNCS. So these guys will still have to upset a majority of squads. They don't have that hold on many POIs, the control that some of the most prestigious teams had.
6 bouncerjev. A so popravili, koliko imaš? Kaže, koliko ima bouncerjev, ali je to, ali ne. Fak, se ne vem.
Dirty Dogs though for Flick still completely uncontested.
Janiksu in Slender je crashal.
Interesting as well is
Janiksu,
that
a?
Flick Thomas and Anas, they have the ability to pop
Pač
off.
a ja,
We saw
Frenzy
them
pa
in the other
Tomato,
heat.
ja, ja.
They were literally at one
Možno da
point,
moment ja ne lenda.
first, second, and third in the number of
Isto
elims
mi to
in
stal
that
spot.
heat. It was insane. And they did a lot of their work, not necessarily here on their drops because they were uncontested in that heat, but they did a lot of work in the early game on edge, fighting teams that are making bad rotations.
Kaj vedno pozabim, skončite res jaj, se ga na teme spawn, vedno pozabim.
Their pop off it in game. If they're at full strength, they have the ability to pop up. But
Zdaj se kar ne moram
folks,
spavati.
they only survived, they only got into in game because Thomas HT hit a crucial snipe on their rotation.
Kaj, ti,
Storm Surge
ti li
was
pušajo.
literally kicking down their door.
I would say it's surprising, but I honestly see that from Thomas every game.
Ugo je
so
pa
I just
hen,
expect
ja,
it
ja,
to
okej,
happen.
okej.
This, though,
Hvala.
That's scarred, man. I understand you can't build in the air, but you got to be a little bit more dynamic. It's beamed down, but it might have been part of the plan.
Ne vem, zakaj tretji Milan daje, ja.
Completely away from Steamy. He's knocked you up. He's gonna get shaken down as well. Lame will be found. There's nowhere to hide.
This is a message, dude. They caught them on the rotation, trying to walk away. And look at that, a sniper shot. They are not messing around. They have that championship, that axe in their sights.
Tale game je malo bolj stak, saj zaenkrat kaže tako. Pač vsi timi so še živi, še vsi timi.
It's free damage.
If you're gonna land anywhere near here,
Prav tako jaka, okej. Kje si Mato, pozdravljen.
Now let's see what does a full strength Amplify Matzo and Benji look like going into in-game. Still great performance, 25 points like I mentioned just a bit ago. But this is what the big concern that a lot of our analysts and a lot of the big-time fans of competitive Fortnite is where they're going to find the Storm Surge tags. Amplify likes to be the fisher right out the gate. He sometimes looks into logjam for some tags. Sometimes they overextend and they feel the pressure and they fall.
Sem mislil, da je šli pogledat, če je bot. Imajo bota, imajo tle. Easy upgrade. Zakaj ne kaže, koliko imajo golda?
They'll be fine with the car as well as the fact that there were so many different teams that have to move through moving woods on this side of the map. Bound to find something at some point is my hope, but at the same time, if this team does end up making it into the end game, big thing that they like to operate with is space.
Ima še en tim, ki bi... Ja, sam res, sam 32 timov je. Kaj en tim ni connectov to igral, kaj?
And they're not going to find Paco's trio at logjam because
Tijan,
they're already
super
left
sem, kako si
towards
ti?
early zones, right? They're already gone. So now they're
Res jaka.
going to rely on vehicles, look for someone to engage into, trying to find someone who's doing a long rotation scavenger route. I'm going to wonder where is the zone right now, because that's going to determine how a lot of people rotate. As you think,
That side
as you see Amplify, Matzo, and Benji, no doubt, looking for someone who's maybe having a rough time or making a late rotation.
Definitely in the zone because I don't even see the lines
Vsi timi so še živi, ja. Razen enega tima sploh ni.
On the right side / bottom side of the map, it's slowly closing in, so this will be a really left side zone. Very tricky rotation.
En tim je zdaj lihar umaril.
Tricky rotation for Dirty, which is why I hope Flick, Anas, and Thomas HD got their looting done. All those shields that reboot van picked up and then pushed towards the storm, towards the zone for Trader Racks. Voixy.
Tle imajo še bota za rocket launcher. Čak, a Trulex pa te niso šli po bota. A ne, se... Ja, what? Ga niso ubili. Bot je še tam. Ali ta bot, ki ga ubijaš, se spet spavna.
A lot is on the line for them and haven't got points just
yet.
Ta
se spavna, ne, ta je pol duh.
Certainly turn it up here. Everyone's capable of putting a great performance today, Shayo.
A very different performance needed in this game. This is actually one of the most interesting zones I've seen. Pushes left so early on the map. This means every team on the left side will be watching probably doesn't have that many tags because they haven't really moved around inside the zone, much like Benji's team. But then everyone from the right is going to be fighting the whole way through, working towards the left side of the map. It's usually kind of the opposite, where like a lot of teams have the freedom to move around, get those tags when it's a central zone, like in game 1, and then the people who are just not there with a good game plan are the ones down bad. Right now, it's really up to position overall. Look at the effect that kind of breakdown has. Benji forced to go.
Benji zapajta z Rizonom pa s temi.
This is it. This is going to be a huge engagement. Vidil's trio loves to fight, and Benji, Matzo, Amplify are all for it because they need Storm Surge tags. Let's see these two Titans collide here. There is 3 trios sniffing around the holly hedges, but this is going to be a blockbuster fight. Here as well. So a lot of trios who are in this area
that are needing Storm Surge tags.
And looks like Pink and Stompy Trulix. They don't want a little bit of it. They're trying to rotate.
Ne, Trulix svetla, ja.
Oh, he gets a big tag. Just a little bit too late with that build to block.
Has Peppers too. This is going to be very dangerous to play around and against. Build up next to them right now. Shotgun shot straighting. No O'Reilly to Amplify. He has to go up while Amplify bunkers down. The shields will come through. It'll be fine there for now. But as this happens, pay attention to that mini map. A lot of teams will be rotating in and out. I don't think Holly is the best place to build the base. It's just a residential neighborhood. right? There's kind of regulations here
Pa,
right
jaz
now.
ful mislim, da...
But at the same time, it's not in the best
Pa
position.
se Benji je
when the
dober, pa
zone
njegov
lock
trio
is.
sam.
We'll see True Lex
Nova,
running the
Rizom
center
pa Vadil
from
so,
better spot.
po moje, res
Rizom
eni izmed
understands
boljših
the
box
situation
fighterjev.
they're in, make sure their mats are always up.
No, se zdaj so se odločili, da
They have the
grejo.
flexibility to maintain the space, but if you give Benji an inch, he will make it way more than a mile. And as Reason tries to move around,
O, Reason
he
hoče
runs
zdaj
into
stran.
Nico.
Dobro, itak ima
This is the
Pepperja, tako da
fourth
čila.
trio in this fight. The mud
Dokler ni
gets
sniper,
muddier
chilla.
here, and things are going to get picked up here. Let's see who could walk away in this fight. It's going to be a sloppy one.
Oh,
but you're
lovijo
seeing the
ga.
payoff work really well.
Hoče
And
Reasona.
Reason knows that they don't need this engagement considering that they have their tags. They just want to hold on
Oh,
as much
left
resources.
flank.
And Reason says, not so fast, Sancho. I'm going to
Sam ne vem, zakaj ga ni
go
zapildal.
right back into the fray, but I think Noah Riley gets cracked right
Mora
then and there.
paziti.
This is going to be a huge engagement. Can Reason go ahead and close out Nico quickly?
O, Fridoxa so dubali. Vadil je Fridox je dubal. Tak, Nova je bil nokan, če se ne motam.
But look, the train hard boys are
O, zdaj
still
so
here
pa
to fight,
skaf.
Shayo.
Still here to fight, but this is so bad for Reason.
Tole je
so
zdajle
far.
slaba
Gets
za
the
njihov
ball
tim.
knocked down onto Freddy, so it looks good there for now.
Pač dovolj
Still
so en kill, to je
2v1
to.
type fight. Split teammates as well. Nico trying to knock on the walls of Reason at the same time. 1,000 damage above, so they really don't need to be here, but now they're forced to have to pick up that reboot too. True Lex is just waiting and watching on the map as well. If you guys don't see it, it's the green arrows for who can win this fight. And I talked about it.
Ne.
Oh no, unfortunate.
Od Vadila.
O'Reilly go down
Trio
at the
je že
same
out.
time.
Slaba.
Reason 2.
And you just
Ma
know,
još ga sej
folks,
bojaš,
that
ja,
Nico's
sej.
trio did not want to push
Ma
into
sej
that
Quizy
fight,
noter chat,
but
ni mu
they had
crashal,
no
sej igra.
choice. The
Glejte ga.
Storm Surge was bearing down their neck as well because they like to do a scavenger route, which is
Ni
not
to
gonna make
Quizy,
the POI.
Quizcan.
They don't see a lot of action, so when they saw the opportunity to strike, they took it. But the Deals trio, who always likes to fight a lot of engagements, pay the ultimate price.
Njegovega
and they've
teammate,
been
ja si
well.
hotel sam reći, a njegovom teammate ste
What
mislili.
does that price equate to as well? You look at the leaderboard on the left side of your screen. It is a very close game still between every team.
Evo ga, TaySona
Just
trio
one
tam na
fight can
uspadi.
change the way your stature is so far today. And although the first place team will bring True Lex and Stompy
Sjeti je
are alive in
nokan.
the game and way far ahead, there's a chance for everyone to catch up right now.
Tukaj je TaySona trio dobi killen. En je dobil kill.
Big shot, and they do find a few onto Teak, onto Steady, but can they get Cammy?
To mora paziti, ko ima... Malo dva sta sam duo, ne pa treba TaySona trio.
Without a fight. Teak though fully eliminated.
Now you're seeing this is engagement that Paco and Queasy are taking because they rotate to the edge of the storm. If the POI is basically the safe zone lands on them in zone 1, they went to the edge looking for storm surge tags as per usual. But that means they're going to run
Ja,
into the
kako
big
rampa
names
zapad,
like
huh?
TaySona, Savage, and iDrop who are coming from Salty Towers.
They're all forced on the right side, and just look at the difference in kind of atmosphere between
Blik je
all
nokan.
hedges and then somewhere near Salty Towers. The left and the right. It's basically peace versus war. You can see no man's land in between the boxes of these trios. You can
Jaz
see
sem
how
nikoli ne vem, koliko ima
tough it is
folk
for them to even
bouncerjev.
rotate
Pač kako je...
3 or 4
Kako je to
tiles. It's so
spagan.
risky. But at the same time, everyone needs to make that movement. So there will be slight chances of peace, some moments of quietness.
Evo,
But
TaySona
after
trio.
that, big shots will roll in. Very creative by Savage and TaySona to actually do that damage down, get ahead, and then use another team's bouncer to make it all the way across.
Now we're seeing some new names into the broadcast. It is Michaels, Verox, and Mexi coming into
Opala,
the
Nico
fray.
je low.
For the longest time, we were always asking, what would they do? Where would they land? They usually love dirty docks, especially Vox. I mean, that's where he made his home when it was introduced.
Sam mislil reći, zakaj se ne zabil da čist...
All the way down to dead side. Now they're fighting
Ja, tale je
off the
mrtev,
scraps
ni
here
šans da
of the
preživi.
Holly Hedges
Pa!
scrum, and Nico literally has no choice but to go into the storm to fight and survive as much as possible.
No,
Mexi's
so ima
not
dva
gonna let this
ploparja.
go, but hey, Karma's trio's on the backside here.
Ma auto
There's
zraven.
so much action here at Holly Hedges, Shayo.
Pač zaradi tega
Okay,
bo
I guess that
dejansko
works for
preživel.
Nico. And he picks up Benji's old car to roll all the way in. I was gonna say questionable play, but this is more so an exclamation mark on the attitude Nico has. He's gonna put it all on the line to survive over here. No placement on
Bro,
the board
dejansko
just yet,
pametan
but he
play, what the
can work
fuck?
towards it. 43 mats.
In za že od
all
4.
wood,
marca ni
though.
nič švital.
I mean, I don't know how long this will last, but
Ja, da,
props.
se bo danes.
If he reses, he reboots.
Od Kinza trio je ključev živ, ne, če se ne motim,
and
nismo
Mel,
nič videli.
That's going to be a highlight in itself. I think he has no choice but to go for it, but as soon as
To
he
je
starts
dejansko
going
dober
that,
play, da je šel v zon.
you know,
Sem
all of a
mislil,
sudden
da
everyone's
trova,
gonna turn
pač
their
da,
head
da
to
sam gre
TaySona,
stran, da
especially
lutne
with
dobi,
that
ampak
horn. Everyone's gonna turn away. But
To
let's
je
take a
ful
look at
dober
the
play.
rest. We see Analex's trio, pretty strong position here. You mentioned Shayo, it's a residential area, but looks like zone is creeping closer and closer. We're about to get to zone 4. And if it goes down to Holly Hedges, wow, what a battle are we going to have for y'all here in match 2?
Aj, poksinite like, gremo do Jure 200. Ja sam do 2 Jurja vsaj. Tam je umrl. Niko je dubo lika, Niko je ubil Kamija. Majster klača.
Not into a different trio's box. That was Kluja trying to make an edit. Back when Queasy were just right there.
A če sem member level 2, memberstvo za 2 meseca. A ne banom, tako ne deluje. Memberstvo se ti vsak mesec na novo, pač ne reset, ampak na novo moraš vsak mesec splačati. Leveli so sam pač, več stvari imaš, kar še mu levelom.
This is a very tricky zone, a very hard lobby.
This is going to be a tough, and Boyer does have the
Drugo je spet
experience
najdor.
there. We'll keep
Zdaj ne
tabs
moramo
on
še gledati
him.
hajta, tle
He
sploh
does
še
have
ni
the second
pač.
place finish right underneath him and Paco and Queasy. No doubt they're fiending for an Elam.
We're in the desert. This would be such a simple rotation in
Anas
terms
Thomas
of
pa
the
Flixo še
resources needed
živi.
to move.
Evo, Niko je zdaj umrl.
You'd be able to hide behind some mountains,
Pa
maybe.
dubo im je
do
2
some
točki, I
sand
guess.
tunneling. If this was near
Dvojno
Misty,
kilom.
you could use those big valleys as kind of places to break lines of sight. But near Holly, this is all flat ground. Every single trio has to use so many builds before the end game even starts. This gives CRR, ZQ, Leo, other trios like Hen, Chapix, and Janice just the advantage of being here. But you have to be careful. CRR slapped in the face while trying to rotate.
This is going to be difficult. CRR, ZQ, and
Na
Leo, they love
69
to be
health
at
bo
the
to kar
edge
slava.
early because of that snipe that's going to put them a little bit behind the 8-ball for just a bit here. But
Kje je od Kinzla trio, sploh ne vidim. On bili pa Benji pa Meco so še vsi živi. Rulek se tam le pa njegov trio.
They go to the edge and they love to fight. They look for storm surge tags on these.
Tu sem si prej že do konca pa Miško, zato da lahko ležim pa gledam stream, čeprav sem imel prej sam 2 metra stali v koncu. Evix, drugače to, ne zakaj, ampak poj ste imeti v koncu pa Miško, ki je prej že tako, da malo tipkaš, je čist cool. Ne, prav jako je. Lepa cifra 69, je lepa, ne?
This will be a very different game. I would say easier than most because everyone's in shambles. But at the same time, it's going to be risky if people do make desperate plays for high ground in that 7th zone. It gets very tricky.
Ti neki boj, ko več ga dal so ke lajkov. Tako je, lej. Ne lajkajo vsi. Kje si sniki? Kje si Babič?
They'll be able to pick all that up. Wow, still everyone in the
Zakaj ne
box
vidim
is fully
Kinzla pa njegov
reserved.
trio?
There's not even an RPG in sight. There's not even
Okay.
a really big base to snipe. No one wants to try it, and yeah, no one has height. And Thomas AC Flicken and us have a max rotates.
This is going to be crazy. We saw Thomas HG hit a crucial snipe on that rotation. There's
Kaj je bil na screenu?
literally 3 trios have
Fuck,
short
nisem videl.
rotations here.
Očitno, ko sem
One
lih
is
chat, bro.
barely just in.
Every trio's bleeding in mats right now. And
Aj, cel
the
trio
move is
še živ.
only gonna get wider. They
Zraven
have to move
Anasa,
across
okay, okay.
complete open terrain with no recycling available.
Teli
just
imajo
yet.
zone, ta je
Into
lepa.
people like Mr. Jam
Sama
Knight,
je Storm
full
Surge.
They're going to need their tags now. They're the
Ej,
ones
zakaj me ne
sitting on
kaže,
top
koliko
of
so
the
pod
match, and they have
damage-om?
that
Kje je
height
Storm
right
Surge
now.
damage?
So every tag here is going to be
ja,
vital
lih
for
kar je
them
konc,
because,
okay, never mind.
the
Lih
rest
50
of the
playerov je.
lobby, Child, they see that purple lightning riding down and they know height's going to be free in the moment if they can aggressively push it.
Evo, že rok. Drulex pa te že roketajo hype. Pač rocket launcher je insane.
And their vision is basically
Biggs,
obstructed. They're
what?
not going to be able to bully any other team or go for any shots right now. They have to rebuild. That means it's a free rotate for the Guild Gamma trio moving in. I was going to say CRR's trio is kind of like the checkpoint on the left side, but his teammate goes down. Flick actually finds CRR. Leo taken out by Thomas. So they have a completely full revitalization
Sniki,
back
Keto.
into this game.
Kaj je
Light is there
solo
too,
cash capo.
looking for shots. RPG knocking on their back door. Pink and
Thomas
Tulix
HD
might have height once
je double
more.
kill, Anas je double kill,
Thomas
Janis je
HG
double
picking
kill.
up CRR trio on the rotation. Remember, if you come
The
in late,
Siptos
Thomas
je double
HG
knock,
trio
nice.
is going to find you, and they just did. That's how they got so many elims. Hen applying the pressure on Thomas HD with light on height, applying more pressure than the metal builds come out. They're trying to survive that rotation. Let's see where zone 6 goes.
No.
The first move in.
Have they done it again? I'm looking at height right now and exactly who's there. First moving does
Go na
bounce
heightu.
towards every
They
team's
have height,
advantage.
yes.
But it is
K1nzell je dobil kill.
the team we saw before having
Benji Amplify, 2 killa.
Again, Trulix of the RPG has built over. They will have to check Mr. J. Benji Amplify and Matzo alive on low though, and they have the room to create space. They have zone.
This is big. This is where Amplify wants to be.
Trulix je, valjda. Valjda je Trulix na hajtu, ko imajo rocket. Oni če bo imel skozi rocket launcher, on-com bojo zmagali. Zato, ker pač rocket launcher pa znajo igrati dobro z rocket launcherjem. Vedno dobijo high, vedno contestajo high.
But look who's at height up there on the other side. It is Stompy Peak and Trulix rearing their head again and again, armed with that RPG.
This is not part of the script. We weren't supposed to have the same team.
A se lahko vi obnašate v chatu, napismo.
It's supposed to be a one and done, but they have an RPG again. They're looking down on every trio who I mentioned is bleeding. These have been 5 different max rotations for some of these teams. Where are they getting these mats?
Crazy double kill.
Pickaxing the air and getting free wood? I'm not sure, but they're still here.
Placementi so se že začeli. iDrop je živ, K1nzell je tudi živ, TaySona, Savage tudi še živa oba. A K1nzell edini še živ od njih. Jaz vidim, da je K1nzell solo. Savage, iDrop imajo second high.
Messing up low ground by elevating, bounces back. So everyone now gets a chance to stay alive for a little bit more. Placement won't go down as fast. You can hear the silence just in between these shots. Stormsurge
zdaj nimajo tukaj, zdaj imajo samo en kill. Etak še lahko dobijo. Zdaj, second high je toliko težko igrati, ker te height vedno spreja, da noš height probo vzeti.
We're in a top 12 here, folks. Top 12 placement points.
TaySona je nokan. TaySona je mrtv. O, Savage je tudi nokan.
Savage goes down as well. Aware picking up players. Swag is still in this fight.
Pede sama iDrop.
Now we're in the top 10.
Nisem videl, a K1nzell je umrl, ali kaj je rip.
A lot of shots ringing out down below, going through old builds, making crazy peats, looking for opportunities. Janice
iDrop je še živ zaenkrat. iDrop spet proba. iDrop zaenkrat carrya 2 igri. Mislim carrya.
Titans colliding on the low ground and mid ground. Benji picking up a knock. This is Benji.
Thomas je nokan, mislim umrl.
Snagged right there. And this is what I'm talking about. When this trio is together fighting
iDrop je mrtv, 9. mesto.
In congested zones.
Zanima me, koliko so imeli killov. Občutek imam, da ne veliko.
Going right before the final ninth zone.
3x3 box space of control as well for that trio. Mr. J knocked off of height.
Benji dober igra, chat. Glede na to, da so šli skupaj kot trio za zadnji FCS qualifier, tole je bil lep play. Lep play.
No damage actually responded by towards Amplifier Matzel either. This is very good. 6 eliminations. They have to find the refreshes in the builds though. They're running out. Benji on his last 8 picks up a few
če Benji zmaga turnir, tudi ne bom razočaran. Nemo prvoščam.
And watching. Cubix finds him though. Artur and them are alive on low. We've seen how good they are in this spot. But they get
Trulix pa te bojo spet zmagali.
In the final moment, it was peaceful times on height. Suddenly, though, Trulix is knocked down, and now Stompy has to do something.
This is going to be difficult. Advise now gets taken out by the Train Hard trio duo alongside with Benji. Now it's a battle between the team that's been mopping up the floor.
3v2 je, 3v2 je. Benji ima 6 splashov, pa en fryfish, tako da mogoče pa ne zmagajo tele.
Matzo with some big tags, Amplify with some big tags.
Benji je smel umreti. Zmagali so. Benji v trio je dejansko zmagal. What? RPG uničil FNCS. Man, čeprav v finalu se ful poznajo, ker če jih nobene kontesta imajo vedno RPG, to je res. Dejte vsi GG v chat, evo zdaj da vas pustim iz zapora. Vsi GG v chat. Holy shit, Benji je prvoščen, drugače, res. Sam ja, RPG je fuck močan RPG, sploh, vsako igro ga imajo garantirano, pa nobenih je kontesta. To je problem. To je problem. Še vedno so prvi, ampak tokrat sam za 2 piki. Drugo mesto so zdaj Amplify, Matzo pa Benji. Tretji so Hen, Janis, Ugvaj. Pol imamo Kvizi, pa njegov trio so 4. Flik, Anas, Thomas, HD 5. Evo, TaySonov trio je prišel iz 11. mesta na 7. mesto, 31 točk, tako še vedno niso full zdaj, še vedno se držijo, no. Se držijo. Tako, koliko so imeli kilov zdaj? Kaj bi jih napisal?
Yeah, it was an absolute mirror to the first game, and that's what it seemed
Biggs, mogoče kakšni videi. Danes ne veliko Valorant na svetih, ker pač imamo Fortnite sporedu, ampak lahko tudi kaj. Kaj, TaySona tweetnil, da sploh ni RPG močen.
There were definitely opportunities to be able to get more assault rifle ammo to apply that pressure down, but just because they'd run out, they weren't able to end up getting that assault rifle ammo back up. Meant they couldn't pressure Benji's team, and they just let
Mar se pomenim, ko sprašuješ.
on low ground pop.
Chat, kova je to? A je to še en teaser? Chat, to je še en teaser! Halo! Čakaj, kje imamo? To damo na tale ekran, da nam zamudo.
You know, curse of the finals that Benji has attached his name, like you mentioned, Reese. So to see them pick up the game is super impressive.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
And you know what? Let's be real. We're all Benji fans. We're all Benji fans.
Ja, TaySona piše o RPG-ju.
So I'm a fan of
Mislim, se strinjam, da je pač močen.
52 points there too. So that was more because they got one more
Zakaj ni zvoka?
game one winner as well.
Ni zvoka, chat.
It was really impressive to see. I think you're right. Fan favorites, you know.
To je vse, kar vemo. A je to Vogue?
Those 6 elims. I mean, you said it yourself. Just seeing him popping off
Kaj?
and just dominating from the low ground at first as well. I mean, what
Kaj, da je to Neymar? A to je za Neymarja trailer, kva?
Yeah, no, one of the things
A ja,
we
what?
here is remember how Stompy took that high ground early on in the
Kar
first
to?
zone? Well, it goes a little bit earlier than that. Look all the way back to second zone. You can see third zone appearing there. Look, the only single player.
Sam, zakaj pa on na tole reaktu?
They were set up in such a good position. If you notice, because the
Kva?
zone is pulling to the
A to je za Neymarja pol, okej.
every single player.
To ni v zvezi z novo sezono pol.
on that
Ali?
right-hand side.
Ali pač?
Yeah, it's super unusual to see that.
Pač tle mi izgleda drugače ena žval, ne kot človek, ampak dobro.
line there. Like, I think that's why, like,
Okay.
it's important to highlight, 'cause there are teams who,
Alright,
the
gremo.
whole play style, the whole essence of how they play the game is, you know, making.
Kola dajmo musko. Ja, folk, zdaj ima Warzone stream, da čakamo na igro številka 3. Če niste stisnili lajka, stisnite like. Gremo do Jurija 300, ne pozabimo, kod je ScorpLZ, šel sploh zdaj, ki je nova sezona. Vsako nedeljo giftam skindergač, če smo na 2000 supporterji, okej? Pač to sezono, mislim, ta mesec nismo, pač vsak mesec se zdaj reseta. Smo pa na 1000, ko še 1000 rabimo, do naslednje nedelje pa mislim, da lahko do 1000 pridemo, tako da. Živijo, Gostur. Gremo zdaj malo tole, dokaj ne bo igra številka 3. Zato, ker on dosti špila Fortnite, ne, se verjamem, da Neymar dosti Fortnite špila. Te Dončić ga je tudi ful, zdaj ne vem, če ga še. TaySona pa te so zaenkrat 7. Rabijo en pop-up game, da pridejo zdaj na vrh, na top 3. Ano. Važno, da folk ugotavlja besedo, ker šabi ne pozna. Aha. Anže, kaj pa piše? Sam povej, kaj piše. Še za en level imamo po moje cajt. Še za en level imamo cajt, pa verjetno igra številka 3. Trash talka TaySona, zakaj bi ga trash talkil? People said something, but I didn't see. People say zdaj. Ja, bi videla, ja. Jura 300 lajkov, nice! Very nice. Oj, no vem, če imamo še za en level cajt. Kva pravite? A imamo še za en level cajt ali ne? Da, ajde, hiter. Dej screen. Jelenček Dina, kva si vam screen? Aj, hitro ugotovite, da gremo naprej. Hitro ugotovite. Malo se bo začel verjetan.
Coming through my earway telepathically. Game match 3, here it is.
Absolutely.
Aj, še eno besedo hitro ugotovite.
Benji and Amplify roll through.
Ne, še eno.
Win. Man, the most insane thing is so far, it just
dobar je.
doesn't seem like, other than that first game, a team really has control of the entire
Okej,
match
zdaj
the
vas
whole
moramo
way through.
zapor pustiti.
Right now, with everyone playing
Spustiti.
so reserved off
Ne,
the
big, shvati se da evra. Bom takoj prebral sam sekunda, da jih damo v zapor.
We'll have to wait and watch because everyone gets to drop for free basically. Scram actually gonna have a little bit of a cost over STV stacks, but I've seen them come back.
Lepo se imejte vsi, kao, nočko. Pa ti greš že spat, Bigs.
That fight at Holly Hedges.
Ne, to je joke, ne. Pa ti za 2 evra.
Which is a very comfortable win against
Že.
who went well with Deal's trio, right? They had that fight against Nico's trio. So there was just so many people, even Pink's trio was there. There were so many people that were there in that fight that allowed them to walk away with some crazy amount of Storm Surge tags.
Potem pa lahko noč Bigs. Hvala ti še enkrat za nerealno support, res. Kje si Don Kočič?
Is Trulix Stompion Peak taking hype with that RPG?
They've basically done all the steps you need to do in competitive Fortnite very well. If you guys are very unfamiliar with how those early games usually drop out,
Potnik, jutri je fucking nedelja.
Everything possible out of your POI efficiently. Obviously, there's so many shields available, especially in a spot like, you know, Pleasant Park. If you're advised,
Well, yeah,
you want to
but
get just enough and then move out from there in the mid game, get all those tags, and get a very good spot towards the end. I feel like Trulix is doing it better than anyone else. Sancho, you saw Reese and Levin, you know, mention it before, how they always have someone inside that last circle, or, you know, when before those last circles start in the 4th and 5th circle. That spot is where everyone else is kind of, you know, tripping up in. And then from there, you know, you just try to win the game. They have height. It gets pretty easy.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with Advise's team right here. Coming into 6th place, this is a very interesting spot. Pleasant Park is not easy to have a successful run. Considering that as well, you have the deal being up there on the further towards the coast. You have TaySona, Savage, and I drop down in the center. So, hey, so far, Advise's trio, a lot of experience in that, a lot of multiple major event finals appearances, and it's showing because they're able to avoid that and make some decent rotations and get some decent points so far.
The thing is, though, they're usually on low ground, right? You're seeing it on screen right now. It's high ground that is usually king in EU. And honestly, comparatively to the world, really in EU. So I'm wondering how their day will look if they don't try to go push for height too many games and stay towards their low ground spot. They've been pinched out of it already in the last game. Low ground did end up winning that last game too, so maybe new patterns shown today. Right now, QQ, Mosh, and Slender moving out of retail row. Not going to be the same look as game number 1. Sometimes people don't want to fight.
Si kupil FNCS Backblink. Ne, kaj brez da si FNCS Backblink kupam. Imam že holo Backblink, pa od FNCS-a logo dobim, pa ga dam gor, pa je to.
I don't think they are right now.
Ne, zakaj to posebej prodajo.
Down this path. This is really interesting. Why this? I don't think any trio takes this path specifically at all to get into the circle, but I might be wrong.
Pa pomeni loot boy. Je to loot, ampak kar ne vem, pač kar nekaj je to.
People usually, if you want to go back to Vatos trio, used to make this crazy long rotation. So they're hoping that maybe they did see someone, they could catch someone. Let's take a look at the map here. This is going to be a south zone, and Misty Meadows already has 2 trios there. That's what Pizza, Artox, and Ardent are fighting right now. Look at this. Patty goes down.
To je ta pizza. Tega se spomnim.
Well, and they take out Vino, completing that wipe. Not a great start to the day for Knifer's trio. Again, making that console switch over to PC track. Pizza, Artox, and Ardent showing strong, proving that they're not the ones to mess with at Misty Meadows. So, hey, zone pulls down here, Shyle. What does that mean? That means teams that are in the POI, in the safe zone, in the major POIs, had the freedom to roam
Ja
around.
mislim je nov
That's
loot
going to
boy,
be
what the
a
fuck?
big red flag for all those scavenger routes. Like you see Nico's trio hanging out at the club. They have to keep it high alert. Knowing that Misty Meadows trio is no doubt going to look for more.
Oh,
This is
ja.
a fight that can't afford to even go
Ja.
that far with that Misty Meadows trio or Misty Meadows zone, excuse me, still in sight as well. I think every team knows whenever their zone pulls towards the south, it gets even
Oeh, die is
more
onze fight, hè?
south side. I think
Onze
we almost
fight,
saw
ja.
a trade of shots there as
Eén
well
keer is dat wel.
at Coliseum. Meanwhile, towards that north side of things, see reason for Deal No O'Reilly in a fight usually gets explosive fast, but not finding the best ways to get in. This is a very well fortified base on the mid ground.
Dus het left fight al, wat de... Hoe gaat het
This
toch
is
met zo?
what's so
Holy shit.
dangerous about being on this side of the map. The deal. They will push you. If they see you, this is where they get the storm surge tags. They don't do it by basing up. They don't do it by going to center. They do it in some nasty box fight. And that's what Ingram, man, Ingram got basically evicted from Dirty Docks here. And so now they're going to try to survive as much as possible against a deadly buzzsaw of a trio here. And so far, they are surviving to be a matter of moments. As Vox does get knocked down to the heels here in Reason with the full
Maar ja,
tag
ik had Domino
push,
op
get
voor
some big
Slovenia.
tags. Vox goes down.
De
O'Reilly
gač
gets
bi
the
jedel
knock right there.
pizza v Domino's.
This is going to be a close
Ovo
to
ne
wipe.
kukije bi
Ingram
naročil.
down to the sliver of HP here, trying to survive as much
O,
as
tale
possible.
je tako,
As the
mačkan low,
shotgun
mačkan low.
doesn't get the big tag that he's hoping for, but just gives him a little bit moment
Ja
to
še
breathe.
zmeraj ga ni zadel,
More
what the
pressure
fuck.
being applied to only now what builds Ingram now with the layer switch going up to the top. The deal getting his siphon on Kibo, actually getting the knock right there.
O, zdaj pa Reason nov.
okay. Ingram's not here.
Majster je
Okay, Ingram,
skoraj-
no. That's a valid effort.
Mislim, veliko damage je
Valid
naredil,
effort,
ampak...
man. Ingram's trio was hot in their treats.
Glej te
They
modele, no,
qualified
kar so kar vsi
basically getting
ustimijo.
3 games in. But man, that's just so much of a tall task. My question is, will Ingram go back to Dirty Docks after getting wiped like that from the deals trio?
Seen teams like Knifers just move all the way around the map. Seen some Stevie Stacks team try different things as well.
Da izgleda, kot da sploh
Mayhem
niti
Saxo,
bliz ne ima.
Malibuka will be able to hold things down for now. Come on, let me see the skill. Almost. A few tags. Malibuka, nice.
it shows
It'll be good
differently.
for the damage.
As you saw that he hit
Beneficial
him
on the
3
chase
times.
down as well, but this is where the other trio will be able to strike back. There we go. You'll be able to get a few shots on them.
Kaj, Benji uporablja overlay od Fortnite Tracker, pa mu dela normalno. Ne vem zakaj, samo on uporablja, da ga ima prav v igri, ali kaj, ne vem zakaj me ne dela normalno
Once
tega
again,
cat.
this is a long pull of a zone. It's gonna be tricky.
Hey, and that what tells me is that the Hunter's Haven is going to be a huge prime real estate for anyone getting storm stagged on people rotating from the north side. Expect fireworks at Hunter's Haven. Also, the mountain ranges, everybody right now are already investing in that real estate. They already told people, hey, we're
model
gonna
bo moral.
already build up on those big mountain POIs. Because we know, Shia, when the zone pulls south here on the zone 1, those mountains will be at play. So this fight right here in the storm, it's going to be, hey, if you get 6 points here, that's going to be good on leaderboard. But that's not going to be good news because when they rotate in, there's already going to be people sitting on the mountaintops beaming them down.
You don't have to beat around the storm at
Te
all. We
bojo
already
vsi
know what's
umarali.
happening here.
Duboj knock.
Both these trio stories for this game in my eyes are over. I'm just rooting for and watching for who
Benji je
can win right now and
dobil
take
2
away those
knocka.
Zealand points. Benji and
An
Anas
assista.
popping off in the feed too somewhere inside the
Amplify.
zone. We need to know how this Stevie kind of battle, this war is going to end. Robnik sniped while knocked. So, hey, I guess you don't have to worry about Storm Surge. But can you get to the fact where it even matters? Even in Colossal
Te so še
Coliseum,
vedno v Koloseju,
these guys
what?
don't care. They want to fight. Toronto's mustache.
Te
Julian
Lander skupaj pa se
still
še kar
in
fajtajo.
the business of dealing damage.
Kako slabo.
Dabble, fucking Bayon do not, like, they're not running.
You know what this feels like to me? An investment knowing that you're going to
Kako mi
lose, you're
trije
going
timi so
to not
morali.
see a profit for a couple of matches. You know that, hey, we may walk away with 0, 2, 4 points, whatever. But if we're able to condition this, remember, this is just day 1. So they're going all in here. If they're able to get this uncontested in day 2, hey, the skies are going to be looking, I guess, clearer. Because right now, it's just nothing but thunderstorms.
Straight up. And yeah, the zone's kind of...
Mislim, da, Storm Fighter se itak velik, pač sploh če je zone delač, ampak ja. Ti so itak bliz zona, drugač sam. Ti se fajtajo že od dropa tle.
That'll be a big pit stop
Že
for
od
this
dropa.
trio. Lots of heals needed to get past that POI. They finally disengage. Which goes the question for me, why even try it at all? But it's to have control of the POI next game, to have confidence moving forward. No blue eyes here at all for Boyer or CRR. Both these guys fighting inside the storm. Kluja's down, so a little bit 2v3.
Unbeatable kill.
Nice bait from Boyer too.
Pač, če bomo imeli tretjo igro zapored, spet high ground, pa res ne vem, Trulex pa te. A ti Ket, se imamo vse naložen.
Hellfire's winning on the backside, so they have a very good pinch here too.
This fight's breaking out. Boyer and Hellfire trying to hold on. CRR, we all know how dangerous of a boxer he can be. Of course, Leo, aka Leo the Crack, looking for the first crack into this match here. Now we're gonna take a look at zone here. You're seeing this zone. Look at it. Look at all the people already looking at Hunter's Haven. You're already seeing some people up on the mountaintops and south side. No doubt Andalex is going to come in.
Pa štale, južni del mape je čisti desaj, čist sam si tam. Ravar Stone Star štege pa si tam je kar slaba.
This is the caliber of teams here, Shayo. Once you have these big name teams, it's not going to be easy. We get through this trio in the heat or qualifier stage. You're going to have to earn these fights, and it's going to be a lot more, like you mentioned, a battle of attrition.
Damage above now for Boyer as well. The most interesting about that map shot is that the left side of the map is basically completely empty. Fight's very interesting, but I find that even more.
Čart, Starbucks je pretrg za Slovenijo.
Tasteful story, so to speak.
Bož da ga ni.
Control that over at Slurpee.
A?
ZQ finds the shots before Boyer can. This is not that pump hand cannon meta anymore, but still, shots were almost there for him. Hellfire trying the big beams, no clutch available from that trio this time. It's very tough to fight that 2v3, especially with the pressure of the zone near Hunter's Haven, though. We'll see a lot of people. No, this is near Caddy Corner, excuse me. A lot of people still in that pit stop. Or Rito Road Trio also is now inside. Now they found a box to knock on.
Snazy, Alex, and Xweez need this box right here. They're below Storm Surge, so look for them to do what they can. You see Shizo's trio up on top here, and Alex is getting closer and closer to Slender, who's not trying to be converted into loot.
Storm Surge. Dale igre kar stacked.
Pro team in the scene.
Prvo je bila še najmanj stack do zdaj.
I kind of like that name, Loot Boy. I love it, but this is going to be where they have to hold on true. As Kiko is holding on with Mashi Slender. Now they're a 3 trio with the defensive stance right now on this layer fight. A lot of metal builds going out, so it's going to take a lot of ammo going through. Snazy looking for that first pierce. Can't get the ammo.
Rabijo še damage da za Stone Surge, če neso ga na...
That was close.
Zdaj so Stone Surge začel damage.
This is important here. 74 below in Storm Surge. 10 people have to go down.
Nujno rabijo zdaj damage delati.
You guys are following the rules in this fight so well. You're not allowed to change layers. We can only shoot at each other's builds.
Yep.
Don't get closer than one box.
Yep.
Might have to throw rules out the window though if Purple Lightning starts to strike.
Yeah, this Xweez is going in. Xweez is going in. He's pushing in through. He's trying to get at least one big tag. Maybe take a wall. But look at it. You know, as soon as that's what I'm saying. As soon as the feed lights up with one of these trios going down, Malaluka, Mayhem, and Shizo have a prime opportunity to third party the strong. And we already saw that the zone in zone 3
Starbucks je bi bilo godni, pa zakaj?
Andalex and Xweez want to get these elims and then
ne, Starbucks je sam fucking overpriced krat 3. Plačaš firmo za fucking kavo. Najboljš da zjutraj ješ na kavo pa plačaš 6 evrov, no, da ga imaš.
Now they're fighting for their lives here and they're trying to avoid being lobbied. Snazy now, all the way without any shields can be able, and here comes Storm Surge, big tags on Andalex and Xweez now. Snazy fighting, holding out as much as possible. Peppers are not going to be able to get you out.
Storm Surge ga bo ubil.
And a dream, more like a nightmare, and out you go as Slender was able to hold on
Slabo.
just a little bit longer and get them out.
Zdaj ta turnir dejansko full mal kažejo K1nzell-a TaySona, full mal.
Moving around maybe towards Misty and finding a fight there, but the early rotation from Retail stops anything Xweez and company have going. In case you guys are just tuning into the FNCS for the first time as well, I'm very confused as to what happened there. No, that wasn't a junk rift, and no one used the item to drop the lightning down. That was Storm Surge, which is, if you don't do enough damage inside the server compared to everyone else alive, and there's too many trios on the map, the server starts to do damage to you, so you need to get...
Deo chat klicaj Storm, tako da tisti folk ne ve kaj je Storm Surge, da bot napiše.
Unfortunately didn't follow that plan. He got stopped on rotation by a different POI moving in. Speaking of movement, every trio has to move towards now.
Jaz osebno nad Starbucksom nisem bil neki navdušen, ko sem ga imel.
It's the Misty/Hydro 16 collaboration with the islands in between.
And I had it
It's
in...
always a hot collab. Just talking a look,
I don't know what
Urnik's
country.
trio actually eliminated Pablo Wingo's trio. So those teams that like to fight for center, that is completely off the board right now because that dead center child is the lake.
The most important thing about that lake too is just getting towards the borders first to make the trip across. Right now, it's gonna be so hard for.
Da bo umrl od zona. Če ne finisha dobo.
It's a 2-tick right now. 7 seconds left in the zone. He has 3 seconds now to find something. Jumps into Joe's box. Can't break past the wall. Joe takes one big shot. It does not go down. Jerky's still alive.
Kenjani su uvek še vsi živi.
For this zone, let's break it down. To get control of it, you need to
Aydrop je dobil kill.
I feel like
Aydrop je dobil kill. Aydrop se mi zdi, da še najbolj danes igra. Mislim, zaenkrat v prvih 3 igrah. Dvakrat je klačal, da je prišel še mal placement je dobil. Benji od trio še živ.
This is one of the most polarizing zones to plan for. Right now, we've seen expert planning on very predictable paths for the storm circle.
Jaz hočem biti v New York, zato ga hočem obiskati muzej 9/11 in VTC, da se spomnim vseh pokojnih. Kaj?
And no matter where you are,
Jaz ne bi šel za to v New York, ampak
if you're watching this, you know how difficult
šel v New York, zato ker mi lepo
so
zgleda.
many big names fail on this rotation. They fail in this in-game considering the aquatic floor is going to eat up a lot of mats as well. So much is on the line.
No, evo jih Trulex pa te.
Here on the final stage, we're in for a
Koliko imajo še kaj raket? Me prav zanima.
I almost forgot about the water too. I already, packed my umbrella, had a towel. I was ready to go, so I was like, wait, why is it even harder? Oh yeah.
Ko je drugač Trulex sploh umrl, Alen, od njih prejšnja igra, da so bili 2-3. Pa so naredili.
Low ground, exactly. So
that's right.
Now for heights, it might be even easier. But then once again, we just mentioned it.
Sam mecov nimajo nekaj veliko. Možno da zdaj ne bojo imeli height, razen če dobijo zone. Če dobijo zone, ja. Sam pa imajo res srečo.
High ground is extremely hard to control off the rip. So on the top right side, you have a team that's very good at going for height. We'll see exactly what they do.
Unle solo player čist na vrhu, GG zone ga. Mrtev je. Vsi ga bojo holdali.
Bungalow apartment with a nice lake house view. Thing is though, they're actually sharing with a lot of different people. Probably smells in there, my God.
Yo, it feels like this is the United Kingdom, this island right here, right? All this action here. You got the
New York
down in
pizza
France, literally, because Misty Meadows is always holding up in France. But
Malo pogrešam una pizza, ki jo dobiš v Pizza Hut ali pa Domino's.
So much action has happened here, and everyone's invested on this.
Pač one pice ne moreš veliko jesti, koliko to lahko, ker je toliko masa pa to, ampak nazaj toliko cajta sede.
One of the smallest islands in the game being held by so many big names in the EU region.
It's gonna be tricky. A bridge has to be built either way, island to land.
Mira bil zdaj snipan.
And there's still tags being traded.
Kje so ostali model? Sploh jih vidim, ne?
You think people are just playing passive, but you have to be very, very vigilant here, and it does bounce all the way towards the bottom right side, where a majority of those teams are held up. A huge boost to make every team on that island. You will not be able to fly by plane.
I mean, yeah, well, you can also have a thin one, yeah. But I like the fat ones, because they're different. Ne, K1nzell pa Stisipto sta mrtva, ampak Savage jih je ubal. Pa se ne ima, ne bom sedal, ne. TaySona je še Benjija noku. Zdaj so on fire. TaySona, Savage, Aydrop, tole igro bojo dobro odigrali, čutam. Se pravi, K1nzell je out. A ti je smanjki enkrat, veš. Savić en nog. Sam ja, ta rocket launcher. Trulex je dobil kill z roketom. 4 kile imajo. RPG je močen, zelo močen. Fuck, res ne vem. Ali ga morajo nerfati, če jih bojo imeli več, ali da ga da pač na splošno ven. Pa zakaj Svektor? Wow, tiho jaka. Pa zdaj so dosti killov dubal, TaySona pa njegov... Evo, TaySona še en knock. Zdaj le pop-ofajo, zdaj le imajo že veliko killov. Pa placementi so se začeli. Zdaj sploh ne vem, kje so. Sploh ne vem, kje so.
You usually have, if the zone bounces back, a lot of builds to work with. Right, a lot of safety, a nice net. But now there's the right hand, that reality. Everyone's running for free. There's no insurance.
Welcome back, Denotes from Prha, kaj
People have to build and it goes back through water.
Kago pizza.
Where no one's built
Koliko
before.
pizza, what the
So really put that right hand in front of your face. Take a sniff. This is
TaySona, zdaj, dubo je finish. To je odnok, kaj prej dubo.
Difficult zone.
All I know, directions
Vadil pa te, aj Vadil solo, a ne, pozan rotira verjeten.
Dude, these teams need help too. What's Vadil
Ja,
doing?
pozan je rotiral, pozan je
They had a
rotiral.
god base. Now they have a low loadout / hideout. This is gonna be so interesting. To an island where no one's built. I don't even think this next zone has any land in it. It's fully water. So hope these guys have their boat rentals out.
Skaj ne vidim TaySona po tem. Evo, Tomas, Flick, Anas imajo hide. Druge strane te pink. Evo, že roke tajo hide, Fuck, spet bojo imeli hide na koncu. Yep.
It's Flick who has it, but it's a big fight all the way up
Oh,
top.
contesta, Flick contesta. Ne bojo jim pustali. In Pink je nokan. Pink je nokan.
But they get RPG down below.
Pa Trulek se
Trulix
lov.
who has that RPG. Trulix is doing all that he can. Trulix is that head of the snake.
Ja, skoraj so dubali tretjič zapored, hide. Skoraj so dubali tretjič zapored. A evo ga, Savage pa te. Borijo se za hide. Ne bojo, dol bojo šli. Ni šans, da grejo gor tole. Ni šans. Če bi zdaj hide dubal, bi bilo insane. Daj pa Flick ima 4 floperje. Neco po Amplify, oba mrtva. Po njegov trio verjetno mrtv. Janis tudi mrtv. Veš kaj, prav je, da... Ne, si nisem več rekel, da ni prav. Sam pač vidiš, da Rocket Launcher ti lahko takoj spremeni. Spet so skoraj hide dubal. TaySona je dobil še en kill. Koliko imajo oni že killov to igro? Zdaj lepo poffajo. Zdaj dobro igrajo.
And moving up layers as a solo, one of the most difficult and dangerous things you can do. But he doesn't care. He's confident. 3 seconds of the storm, though. You got to move 5 different builds.
Hen ima sam še 3 builda.
It's a charged shotgun, which means it'll be one big bullet that he has to hit.
TaySona je mrtv.
His high ground is also getting interrupted.
Vse čaj drop sta še živa.
On the left side of your screen. Don't mind the clutch. Let's look at the game state. I drop on top of this box right now. Flick out of mats too. Oni ne morejo imeti več hajta. Ne, čeprav, okej, samo ni imel. iDrop je nokan. Savage je double kill. Savage je pol double kill. Savage, ajde Savage, klačaj. Rip. 5 so bili. Pač top 3 morajo pridati parkrat. 100%. Ker top 3 je pohan placementov. Te imajo tudi veliko killov, 7, Noč ni najdu. Still active right now. Masha survived all the way on the low ground and also on the backside as well. 3 total eliminations, 7 for the trio. And he goes down in 3rd place. It's a new trio all the way up on height. We have Stasty. We've got Miro and Swag all looking good for the moment, but can they finish and clinch the game? That's the question. Almost. 2 different trios. 2v3 and Kuko took a big shot.
A ne, te dva na hajdu sta bila sam 2. Ja, tole je GG's.
Swag goes down and 2 big pumps on the backside.
GG's v chat. GG's, da vas pustim zapora hitro. GG's. Zdaj so podvojili točke, TaySona pa te. Tako, daj, da gremo pogledat. Da gremo pogledat. Se pravi... Da resetamo. Sprav, Trulec pa te so še vedno prvi z 91 točkami, drugi še vedno Benji Fish 84, tretji Flick, Anas, Tomas 81 točk. Pol imamo Hen, Janis, Ugve 4, Kvizi 5. TaySona je zdaj sam z en mesec šel gor, tako da so zdaj 6, na mesec 7. Še vedno so en dober game stran. Pač, average elimination imajo dobre. Pač vidite, imajo dejansko sam teli pred njimi. Sama Anas, Tomas pa Flick imajo več average elimination kot oni. Sam pač placementi, ne. Top 3 placementi ti dajo full. Morajo pridati enkrat med top 3. Eno igro rabijo med top 3 pridati. Kaj pa K1nzell? 29, uf. Danes te gre dober K1nzell, chat. Full jim gre slabo. Res škoda. Pač, jutri je še drug dan, ni še konc, valjda, ampak. Znaš, da dotekal za matematiko? A ja, ta Astra pa to. Tako da ja, okej. Pač, skoraj je tretjo igro so imeli hajt spet z Rocket Launcher. Rocket Launcher mislim, da je kar broken. Mislim, da je kar... Ne bi smel, pač, kaj ga imaš garantirano, je kar slaba, no. Okej, gremo, ajde. Tako da ja, chat, tisti, ki ne veste, jutri je še 6 iger. Danes 6 iger, pa jutri 6. Vse se skupaj sešteje. Tako da... Ajde, folk, ugibite, ugibite! Ajde, kjer je šel pampa nazaj na sledejo sezono? Pojma nimam, a bo ali ne, pojma nimam. Twitter od Jimketa. Bom hitro pogledal. Sploh ne vem, kako ima Twitter. What this one? And where's the... Kaj vi pravite? Jimke ni nič kaj tweetnul za TaySona, ne vem, kaj vi nabijate. Chat, Jimke ni nič napisal, ne vem, kaj vi govorite. Da so sniki, sej zdaj gledamo sam kar Fortnite objav na Twitter. Gledamo. Dosti je likov zaenkrat, bomo itak pol, ko bo nova sezona videl.
Strašno.
Okej. A res, Ferk? Slaba, slaba. Slaba. Daj, Denotes, poglej DM za tweet. A ja, to je tweetno. Ja. Ja, Neymar bo imel svoj skin, ja. To smo videli. Tebe si skin. O ne. Kaj? Če greš panca sa dobiš uni emote, ki ga vržeš gora, ne? Pač uni emoti, koliko vedno dobiš panca sa, pa backblink in to je to, če gledaš. Folk. Ne dojde 500 lajkov. Več, folk, ne pozabi pisati kod je ScorpLZ shop, vzamem vam minutko časa, upišete noter, da kaj nov Battle Pass, da kupite z mojega kreator koda. 5 minutan break je chat zdaj, tako da 5 minut bo pauze. Tako da chillamo. Chillamo. Chat, vse je fake, pa še en E je zraven. Ja, sej sem rekel, vse. Abi, cel dan spi, pa tle pametna. A ne, pa na, nekaj golfat. Kaj zdaj hoče, da še od K1nzell-a tweet pogledam, pa. Aja, da ima vsak moving zone max distance. Vem, kako je to, tako vam jaz ponovati. A vidite, kaj me zanima? Če imam monte še. Grem pogledat, če imam monte. Abi bo dala continue. Insane monte! B je fake prav, Abi. Dožo NJ 1 euro, kako povežeš Twitch account s Fortnite accountom? Nekje pod nastavitvami, ne vem iz glave, res. A pa ne Epic Games pa na nastavitve, ja, kogarko, že robi Turk. Kdo od vas obožuje monte? TaySona landa v Tilted. Pa level 16 smo že. Koliko imamo rekord? 23, a ne? Prva runda se ni ponavljala, Team Slayer. Nič se ni ponavljala, zakaj bi se? Zato, ker je Benji crashal, ne bojo ponavljali runde, ni šans. Runde sam ne ponavljali. Rundo bojo sam ponovili, če kakšnemu timu ne skonekta noter. Ne bojo pustili, da igralci vse odigrajo, pa pol resetajo. Akva je objavil, ni šans. Ni šans, da se prva runda reseta. Akva je to napisal že prej, mislim, da pred tem. O, nekaj imam v grlu. Ja, jaz mislim, da se zajebava, ja. A je skrivna črka, chat, a je skrivna črka. Kva vam je to v grlu, no? Korona zihne, upam. Ne, se to ni kašelj, ampak ono, ker se ti nekaj zatakne. Ne, bomo pol od Hypexa pogledali. Oh. Tina je doniral 1 euro. Evo še nekaj malega od mene, keep up the good work. Tina, hvala ti za 1 euro, res hvala za support. Hvala. In valjda tudi hvala za lep koment. Monte je tok dober. Monte je nekaj najboljšega. Ne, 23 je rekord. Niso v igri, noče imam odprt zraven. Nisem neumen. Evo, zdaj pa so. Vse smo naredili, evo, kulje.
Flavors from EU in these end games.
Oh yeah, we have people who come from scavenger routes, we have people with an RPG, people from the low ground, we have trios who are big names making some big statements. We have the new trios who are trying to get their first championship, but also their first appearance here in the FNCS Heat finals, making some noise.
Yeah, it's not only just the end game, even the earlier, right? We're seeing some very good pivots. And war that's going both ways.
TaySona landau tilted.
Completely contested game 1. Now very good rotation in game number 4 that we're watching currently on your screen. Past that as well, we saw some crazy stuff at Steamy that I thought would just go and dread his way 24/7, but in the last game they got taken out. We've seen high ground dominate. We've seen a low ground win from Benji that was just so good, and a completely aquatic zone that I'm still not dry from.
Man, we had a great finish, and we're expecting a great finish here at the end of day 1. And I would just like to make this point.
Kjer zone imajo, to je kar skav.
Thomas Steve flicking the nos. In games 3, 4, and 5, that's when they went supernova. So I'm expecting them to maybe go supernova. Now, it may not be a 26 elim game with a second place finish, and it may not be a 17-13, but supernova in the finals would be, I would say, a 10 elim game, right?
Vidite, oni so nekontestani, dobijo RPG, dobijo Epic AK, garantirano. Mece imajo max tam, ker imajo metal. Brik pa voditek dobiš Balkane povsod. Pa ne, avti novijo šli ven, govzi, ni šans, da je avte ven dal.
Unexpected, seriously, from a lot of teams to really perform with, so when it happens, it's huge.
This is going to be a great start for Analex's trio. Last time they ran into a roadblock. They had Kiko's trio stopping them on this
Switch play je ratu beast. Switch play. Poznam beastnik, hvala ti ga support, dajte memberi. Hvala ljubi za Switch play, prosim. Ja, danes je dan 1, jutri je dan 2. Pač jutri zvemo, kdo je zmagovalc. Hvala ti Switch, pozdravljen. Ame glava Srbi.
But looks like Truex, Pink, and Stompy. I'm telling you, dude, that's center of zone 1 right there. Wherever they are, you know that that's dead center.
If you guys are used to, just watching the broadcast today, this is a game we're tuning in slightly later from, so we haven't seen a lot of those off-spawn fights. As you can see, almost 9 players down. Now it's near 10. That's why I always say almost, because, things can happen while we talk, and 3 trios are already gone.
Bo en orang moving prišel, le bom videl, pojma nimam. Pojma nimam, kaj bo naredil. Saj jaz mislim, da bo naslednja sezona insane v zvezi s contentom. Da bo veliko več contenta.
Sniper's big underway undertowed today. The Vior trio has been tricky, and it's always in the desert, kind of where, their plans falter. Run into a team, don't get enough tags, Surge is an issue. I hope they can overcome that in this game. They've got a full selection of trios, dabble and dip from. Question is, who will Gripey shoot first?
And this is what's so difficult as well. I gotta put the cherry on top, and this cherry is not a friendly looking cherry. It's a deadly red cherry that's gonna be a reminder that you're gonna have to pay the toll crossing into Hunter's Haven. Hunter's Haven may not be a great drop spot.
Tiket, ja, mislim da 10 minut ali koliko. Samo odprt moraš imeti v zadju. Jaz jem mlek pa pijem kekse. Kje si je ribable? Javi?
Amplify, Matzo and Benji who are sitting looking for storm
Emoticon, basically. Emoticon dobiš, ja.
Of the Slort Factory, but
a 20 minut, ja, je 20 minut, okay.
I don't think this has 4-wheel drive, but it's making their way up this mountain.
Voixy, TaySona.
Very equal frame. Actually, that's not Benji's trio. They already rotated early, knowing understanding that
Čakaj, niso oni tako, da vedno rotirajo v sredino zone, pa so še zdaj rač sem gor. A ta skočil noter, ali?
That's a trio coming from lockjamming, so there's a lot of traffic already heading into this wedge.
So now we're in a little bit of a standoffy situation as well.
4 timi zaenkrat, ko bi umrl.
You remember in our heat, in Heat 4, we had it in game here. We had it in game here at Flush Factory. It was the last game of the day. And that in-game led to a great performance from Benji.
Pa dejansko, vsi so trio, noben ni do.
And that was Andalex's trio that had hold of that mountainside. Right now, no one does have that prime position. So expect some fireworks to happen right then and there.
TaySona gre solidno, 6. so. Ampak sta 2 dni, tako da definitivno še ni nič konc. K1nzell gre slabo, po 3 igrah so 26. Ali nekaj tasga?
I'm sure I've triggered some people like these casters cheering on Mando. Cut the man some slack. You know, he's here to try to help us here. Jonesy brought him in here.
Denotes, en insane thumbnail bom rabo za novo sezono. Sam vem, da bo to škoda šlo naredil. To boš v šoli. A moraš gledati stream od Fortnite na YouTube ali na Twitchu? Ne vem, ali lahko YouTube povežeš z Epic Games ali ne. Nekaj je bilo včasih, zdaj ne vem. Kje si Gargan? Ja, K1nzell 3 sploh še nima killa, ja. Zelo slaba. A 29 so, sorry. Nisem bil zihar, 26 ali 29. Super, Denotes spal. Super. A že Denotes, jaz bom en thumbnail naredil, da bom dal premiero, pa mi boš pa zjutraj ti naredil hiter en insane thumbnail, okej? Ko bomo vedeli, kakšna bo nova sezona pa to. Pa 12-uren stream bo za nova sezona.
You poke the bear that is in Genesis and Chapix, you're going to have to resolve it in a big fight. But looks like
na Twitchu vem, da lahko ti kaj, ja.
They don't want this fight, but now they have no choice.
Gotta go back and save Chapix, and Till's all the way on the walls as well. You'll notice Till was shooting, and his damage was still going down. That's because 17 people
všeč mi je, da so popravili ta spectating sistem. Ful je dober spectating sistem, res. Končno. Pač edina stvar, ki bi jaz še popravil je, da Vadil je dobil kill. Ena stvar, ki bi jaz še popravil je, da se na vsaj to kdaj malo zaštega, to je tako logično, ampak kaj bi jaz še popravil je, da kadar gledajo z uno kamero, ki kažejo pač vse playerje okol, nikoli ne pokaže, kdo je nokam pa to. Tisto bi mogel skozi kazati, če je kdo nokam pa to. Tisto bi mogel skozi kazati.
They're not deciding their fate right now on this damage. They're getting no tags. The server is just blessing them for this moment.
It's still, that's a dangerous trio. Hens trio is one of the elite box fighters in the EU region.
Gledamo finale, no, danes pa jutri.
They weren't hitting their shots. That is
Sem komentator, LZ.
You rotate early to the first and second zones. You have to hit your shots, kid. And if you don't hit your shots, you're going to feel the rain and pressure of the purple
Trulec pa te imajo Storm Surge. To je dober. Pač vsi, ki so na TaySona pa temi, je dober, da da slabo odigra.
And they're not trying to heal off right now. They're just trying to buy some time. It's a possibility for that heal off to come through.
No, Majster ima še bige. Evo, Pink je mrtev. Trulec bo tudi umrl.
There's no knock.
Thomas HT, that whole trio is gone. Eliminated. Out. What place? Wait, what place are they coming in here?
Zdaj nimajo oni rocket launcherja.
No, third place. They were third going into this match. Gone already, brother.
Pa, zakaj ta likar damage prejel, če ni Storm Surge, what? Jure, ajde vsi srčko chat za TaySona, Mato, ajde. Ajde, membri, dajte srčko chat. A Tomasov tim je tudi dead. Nice. Zdaj, to igro, če popajo TaySona, Hydra pa Savage, pridejo v top 3, easy. Se upravičujem za tiste, ki ne vidite za Trulexa. Nimam nič proti vam, ne skrbeti.
So every other team that was kind of lackadaisical, every other team, I would say like Trulex's, who weren't really, getting to the airport on time, gets denied space on the flight to make it to the end of this game. They're not ahead of Surge. They go down. That's unfortunate.
And all it takes is an opportunity for a refresher to catch that second flight. These are the people that are rotating lane. They're migrating lane from the north side of things. So, because center zone went down, they're going to be able to get some decent rotations. Now they're on the edge. Now they're going to catch some people that totally miss everything and that did not have their alarm clock set for this rotation. So, a very dangerous situation to be for Mr. J.
Imaš noć proti Ani, definitivno nejaka. Ana se mi smil. Kao time out tem. Denotes već time out, ali moderatori. Za brez veze.
For the 4th of July here, but Hen, Jennison, Chapix here able to survive their rotation, pick up Chapix, and now they have a moment to breathe. They do like to recycle builds here in Hydro 16, but you don't want to be down here, dude. This is not a good spot to be down. You got to go up and over this elevation that's right in front of them on the south side. And yes, they have to go up and over. And look at all the other trios that have to go up and over. This right here is going to be a very dangerous rotation.
We guys back to your rock climbing gear because we have to move up a mountain soon. And at the same time, following through with the airport analogy, what's the worst part about airports?
TaySona pa te so holdani.
Worst part, yeah, you have to go through the
zone morajo pridat.
And the lines, exactly, the lines. And look on the mini map right now.
Slaba.
Lines and lines
Kdo jih to kareni fokusajo, no?
Together in these boxes, and they can't move until someone else moves. It's very difficult, but also very different on the other sides of things when you've already landed. Reason, deal, no O'Reilly, complete dead side of zone. And it's very, very quiet here too. Possibly looking for a snipe, but hey, they're hold out. Everyone here is having a hunky-dory time.
And this trio right here, when they don't are not aggressive, they
Tedabi igra Simse in dela naše hiše v Simsi. In je zdaj naredila najno sobo. Ne, moja soba, kot najno.
They're going to push them, but looks like someone caught them for a moment. It's a big tags here. It is the German team of Lane Robnik here getting some big tags coming from all the way.
A zdaj nekaj zamudil, sem gledal na Abin ekran. Se TaySona pa te so zrotirala, ne? So zrotirala. Ja, so, ok, TaySona vidim, sam nima shieldov.
That team that's already sitting in that safe zone, but they got slowed down here. Hen, Janice, and Chapix here now making their rotation on the long side. But
Savage je full HP, TaySona je full HP, pa Idrop je full HP. Ok, chillajo. Mislim, glede healov.
In a decent position here so far in the finals.
What's the most recognizable part or the most distinct part about a face, Sancho? The eyes, nose, and mouth, correct? The nose, yes. Below the hair. If you took a look at that zone previously, if you look at the map right now, all these trios up top.
Naslednji Storm Surge je za 50 playerjev, tako da 16 folka da pomret. Dajte klicaj Storm v chat. Za tist folka ne ve, kaj je Storm Surge, da v chat napiše ScorpLZ bot, da lahko preberejo, kaj je Storm Surge.
But the visual features of the face, the eyes, nose, and mouth right now, are all those southern trios. No O'Reilly.
Savage je tagan.
People rotating with them too. Right now, Hen is just caught in the
Ja, mislim, te morajo tudi umreti pred TaySona potem, zato da jih oni lahko ujamajo. Vejki, K1nzell pa Desipto, še vsi živi, nice. Savage je nokan. TaySona je low.
An extra box built up is a target for every other follicle that's on the map. It's next to you as well. It's very tricky to survive here, but we go and focus more so.
Chat, sploh ne dobijo zona, holy shit, K1nzell ima spet par zon, pa TaySona tudi. Džuro, pozdravljeno, Beasting, hvala ti je support, dajte membri hvala ljubi za Džurota, no? Ja, ja se umrl, to sem videl. Kje si Džuro? Žo Janči.
Yeah, the Storm Surge tags came through, and that gave the lobby signal to go ahead and eliminate full
TaySona je umrl. Idrop je sam. Chat, umrl so.
There's going to be a new winner here, and right now the Deals trio.
0 točk. Chat, 0 točk so dobili.
So let's keep an eye on the feed as you see Savage and TaySona going down, Queasy going down here. So a lot of big names are losing out on this rotation. But look at it.
K1nzell trio mora zdaj dobro odigrati, da pridejo gor.
So once CRR gets inside that edge, expect them to turn their focus on Hen. That's going to be so dangerous for Hen to survive here. But let's take a peek at who is in the safe zone. This is going to be a prime opportunity for Deal Reason and Noah to not only move up the
K1nzell pa TaySona se med sabo ubijata. Že drugič je to, ali tretjič.
Box fight they have and high ground retake is up there. Reason actually has, but Eunice with some great defense builds up a little bit, but Reason with the bouncer gets a big tag on Eunice's and shoves him off the high ground and says, "This is mine, young fella. This is mine."
I don't know they were binds to actually use their hands to push people down, but no O'Reilly definitely
has those
bounds.
jutr za cash. Seps, finale, to je vse skupaj, 12 iger je. In so razdeljene v 2 dni, don 6 iger, pa jutr 6 iger. Točke se seštevajo skupaj. To je vse za denar. Pa skupaj se sešteva. Sedi danes finale, pa se nič ne zgodi, pa jutr spet.
It's the power of the purple charged shotgun. Fully charged, you find the angles, you understand where people are rotating, you will do some max damage.
And now we look at the theme of this entire game. If game 4 was an essay paper, the title would be congestion versus control. Right now, the ones in control are these 3 trios in the top, Robnik, Reason. I mean, it looks like it's about to be snazy in just a little moment. Everyone else is kind of squeezed, constricted this entire time. Look at the HP bars. You can tell who's had a rough ride and who's had space. If you see any black near it, any, blue shield missing, white HP affected, that means they had trouble in this game. They've been constricted.
Vidil's trio has the opportunity to close the door on this match. Trulix's trio is gone, so RPG is not going to be able to contest right then and there. You also have Andelix's trio gone. They're not going to be able to make some noise. I'm sorry, this Thomas HD's trio is gone. They're not going to be able to make some noise there. So the people that normally look for height are not going to take it away. Andelix is still alive there on the front side of zone, alongside the squeeze. No doubt that's going to be a full strong trio. But this is all not only win, but put some big time points on the board.
Bro, nimajo toliko mecov več, nujno rabijo kakšne kile. Mislim, vsaj nova nima mecov. Ne vem, kdo je Unke tarpa. Train Umplify umrl. K1nzell je v spodi. Voixy in Shimto sta mrtva. K1nzell je dobil nok. Benji je nokan. K1nzell je še živ. Se mi zdi. Benji je mrtv. Evo, K1nzell je dobil kill. Ajde, K1nzell klači zdala. Ne, K1nzell umrl. 11 so bili. Slaba. Doma so neki točki. Definitivno bo imel boljši play skokar prej.
Here just to be able to hold on just a little bit longer, has one flopper in rotation. Miro can definitely get some more points here, Shio.
Lep that side rotation tle. Kaj, zakaj je šel pa dol? Zakaj? Je šel znov nazaj, what?
He's working it. Everyone in mid-ground has no heals or shields available. Miro goes down, and now the one trio who's been so good in mid, Seti.
Kdo misliš, da bo zmagal?
Meanwhile, everyone on the backside is getting
Full timo je kalo zmaga, dejansko je težko napovedati. Lahko danes po teh 6 urah probam malo, kdo mislim, da lahko zmaga. Pač nam rekel, zdaj lih Unke je prvi, mislim lahko tudi da Unga rečem, odvisno kako bo. A ne vem, stari, velik top 5 je full timov izenačenih. Pa 12 iger je full velik, daj komi četrta. Pač danes po tej igri še 2 odigrajo, pa jutr še 6.
So now we have a battle between one solo and 2 full trios here. Can Teak survive? Now he's just trying to hide as much as possible. He does have some floppers in his inventory, so if it does go to a heal condition, he may be able to walk away with that victory royale, but I just don't see it. Reason and Vidil, no Riley are going to just apply a lot of pressure, and they're going to get right into your face. Teak now has no floppers on the down line. Teak gets found by Vexy's trio, so now it's a battle here. 2 trios at height and at low.
Reason's looking to take control of the entire server for the lead.
Jaz ne bo imel full killov. 4, 2, 5, 11. 12 killov imajo. 2 v 2 je.
One quick squirt and it's not going to be enough to trip him up whatsoever. Reason still has height all the way up top, but now zone
če zmagajo imajo 14 killov, kar je insane.
Not much room to work with. Michael has to fall all the way down. One tack shot, 19 damage. Reason does not miss. He's a perfect player, and he takes the shot. Eno je. Maxi on low. Reason, does he have the mice to stay on height is a question. The zone's also moving slightly. Betsy's out of mats. He can't do much at all.
Maxi je skoro klačil.
Reason looking down, takes some damage. No shields.
Kdo bo to zmagal?
So close. Reason, no heals too. It's going down to the wire. And Reason.
Reason je konc zmagal. Sem mislil, da ni zmagal. Pa, te imajo zdaj full pick. Nisem videl, koliko imajo. Holy shit, dajte GG chat, zdaj vas takoj spustim samo muskito tam. Pač tiskama hajt v moving zonu večinoma zmaga vedno. Pač, ker je zdaj ful težko hajt vzeti. Ful težko. Ful težko. Ejo, prvi so zdaj, v Delamo Parizu so zdaj prvi, 104 točke. Belgij je drugi, chat. Trulex pa te so tretji. Chat, Benji, Fishy pa njegov trio me ful preseneča. Nisem pričakoval, da bojo na vrhu. Pač ni še konc, vada. Ker, gledajte, to je vse še, kaj pol še jutr 6 iger, 60 pik razlike tudi ni še nič, ne? Tyson pa njegov trio so dropali 6 na 9. mesto. 68 točk imajo. Pač en pop of game je, ne? Oni so zdaj zmagali z 14 kili. Kar je zelo velik pik. Koliko dobiš za zmago vse skupaj, chat? 45? 28 za kile. Pač v eni igri si lahko, če oni dobro odigrajo, pa te recimo ne igrajo ful dobro, lahko pridejo že na prvo mesto, recimo, ne? Chat moram izklopati vmes, lej. Pa tudi, lej, imajo memberi neko prednost. Ko nočem, da tudi folk spoila. Pol da vidimo, kje so zdaj, K1nzell pa te. Ja, za 3 mesta so se sam pomaknili. Prišli so iz 29. mesta na 26. Koliko imajo killov? Average elimination. Vse zdaj so double killa, ne? Če se ne motam. Al? Ja, double so. Nič killov nimajo. Ne gre jim dobro, ampak dobro. Jutri, gledajte, kot sem rekel, eno tako igro odigrajo, kakor zdaj, no pa te pa so tukaj gor. Nad top 10. Hiter se spremeni. Hiter. Kaj če opazim? Ja, bravo, dober ime, Juško. Poglej tweet od K1nzell-a. A spet, pa sej prej je tweetnil, da imajo skozi zone, ki so delač. Da to misliš, sem že videl. Ja. Koliko ima delač zone? Kaj? Ja. A Navijamo je napisal Hazel chat. Spike ne vem, kaj je napisal. Ajde, folk, imamo to. Čak, mi smo level 22. What? Sploh vedno nisem. Aha. T je skrivna črka, chat. Spike je dal hazelnut, pa F je fake. F je fake, skrivna črka je T. A ne je dal hazel, Spike je dal hazelnut. Ajde, imate to. Rekord imamo 23, chat. Scorp, danes sem kupil ninja s tvojim support creatorjem. Ej, hvala ti, hvala sem, ko upravljate tako, da ScorpLZ šel. S tem mi ful pomagate, res hvala. Skaj rdeča rutko, to ni rutka, to je kravata. Kadarkoli gledamo finale, imam vedno to kravato. Pač to je značilno, kravata pa pica. Danes ni pica, bo jutr pač. Da nam 2 dni zapored. Kravatko malo kao komentator. Kao se ušmekamo. Evo, zdaj sem vse odkril. Nice. Še moramo ugotoviti, chat, še. Ne. 1 točka. Gremo ono, kar išejo eno. Ale sakro. K1nzell s heki, sej tošnike K1nzell. Ne, ni pa na CSja še konc, chat, ni. Pač danes pa jutr je, še 2 igri sta. Vmes, ko čakamo, da gremo v naslednjo igro, vedno to igramo, da lahko pač, da ne čakamo, da vam je zabavan zraven pisati pa to. Folk, če niste stisnete like, pa naročite se na ta kanal. Vsak dan delamo content, tako da ne bo vam žal. Devetnajst sabov nam manjka do 27.800. Sem do 28.800. Tako da, če še niste sabani, bi vas zelo prosil za sab. Ciljno je 30 evrov sabov, čim prej. Only ni biker, ali kaj? V igri smo. Ok, vse smo naredili. Evo, lih začel se je.
Completely on the same page, but also because there's been a team to start the day
Ajnoč, 5,
almost close to getting
4,
two back-to-back wins.
3,
Right, controlling height.
yes,
Doesn't
pa,
usually happen. We have
ena,
no Benji
evo,
popping off.
v
Love
zapor.
to see it. Doesn't happen this early. Thomas and us flick, you know, coming in the business as
Lahko
well.
noče videti, če greš
It
spat.
happens on the back half of competition.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would be day 2.
Both
It's
sides.
happening on day 1. And now we have a 1v1 with a reason on the front street, on in the driver's seat as well. And he's popping off too. You can't expect what's going to happen in these games. And it's been the craziest zones too. It's amazing to watch.
It's been an unbelievable ride, and we have 2 left to go. As you see, Andretta picking up a knock on Shizo.
Fajn se, Njuško.
That
A
fight
ta
is kind
ime?
of popping up, but
Ma
I,
se
you know, I
hva.
just gotta say, like, what we're witnessing
Koliko
though
v bistvu
is
imam?
like so many
Džuro, ne vem, okoli
styles
200.
clashing, and so many trios have
Dost smo
similar
padali z bistvi
styles.
zdajle proti koncu
We're
te
seeing
sezone.
some teams execute it better, while others are being much more consistent. Maybe they're just changing little styles and whatnot, but no doubt
Huh?
will work for Noah Riley,
Don't
but
know.
Dion Reason is
check.
that aggressive style. As soon as that they're done here, they're gonna take about 4 or 5 minutes. You see them like closer when it gets to zone 2 reveal. They're gonna push out to the coastline and look for Ingram. They know that he's there. They're
205
gonna
imamo
look for
memberja,
fights.
205.
And that dead side rotation, that was the key in that one. And Rusgard, Scram, and Andretta, who did go down early in the, like, I would say a mid game, understanding that they need this game
Xmas
here
Fisti je rado tudi mali bist. Xmas Fisti, pozdravljam bisni, hvala ti, dajte hvala ljubi za Xmasa, prosim očet. Pozdravljam bisni, hvala ti legenda, hvala.
Getting caught
Pozdravljen.
anywhere on the map is just going to be so difficult.
Jaz si naučil krato vezati na netu.
I mean, I was going to say maybe
Ja.
these guys don't make it off spot.
Tam zdaj imam skozi zavezano, zdaj ne odvežem več. Zdaj sem že pozabil, po moje. Ok, ja, na netu sem pogledal. Zabi. Pa ugotavljala takrat. Hvala, Switch
How did
Play.
this happen? It's outside of Colossal Coliseum, Sancho. Is this allowed? Is it part of regulation?
Hey,
Juško.
like I said, the
Živijo Fisti, hvala ti še
little
enkrat za
changes,
support.
the micro adjustments, understanding, yo, we have been fighting so long in Colossal Coliseum, we've been going back and forth, it's not worth. Instead of getting Storm Surge tags in a box fight, we're gonna go ahead and rotate to a prime spot right there, that tree that we all know when in-game gets there, gets chaotic, but there is a great spot. You get some great tags. Looks like Milo's trio alongside with Cisse and Nebs are happy with those tags, and now they're gonna rotate and look for more tags on someone from Stealthy Stronghold, the Flopper Island, or maybe go down to Pleasant Park and sit there on that mountain. So,
Thomas,
a
pa
little
te so
change of
contestani.
adjustment. This is a big change of adjustment.
Oh.
We were wondering where Agram was. He said, I'm sick of it, deal. I'm gonna go ahead and go back home to Dirty Docks.
So it's kind of opposite day for this game, right? We've got contested dirty when it wasn't before. We have the Coliseum fight outside the stadium this time. We basically have EU
Yeah, I did.
with God Mental as well, which is not usually the case.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
gets
yeah.
pretty fast and furious. But this
Juro,
time, as
napiši,
Reese
kaj cajt
mentioned,
pacov chat.
everyone really wants
Pa
to
boš
stay in
videl.
these games. They're stacked.
Yeah, and you know, Thomas HC,
Ne, ne,
when he
Juško,
got
ne rabim,
contested,
hvala.
thought the whole
Kao,
entire time in the heat,
tudi
he
ti tu
wasn't
pogrešaš
contested,
kaj levega.
wasn't contested.
Ej, levega
But
zelo
then,
pogrešam. Ej,
one
Janči,
game,
super sem,
someone
kako si ti,
showed up,
Janči?
And you know what happened? They popped off and got 26 ceilings.
Na to vprašanje,
So
daki, what the fuck?
this is still good
Kaži,
for
da se vrne
Thomas
iz
HC
prejšnjih
quick
sezon
enough.
v
If they
novo.
can get through this fight quickly, they're gonna
Kaj
have
da
that
se
Storm
vrne?
Surge tag, so that
Kaj bi
allows
res
them
rad?
to make the rotations that they want to. And at the same time, They look for that height as well. So it's
Mogoče
just
bi
gonna allow
rad
them to play
Shadow
the
Bombe
puzzle
videl nazaj.
of
Shadow
in-game
Bomb pa mogoče
versus being
Launchpad.
box fighters when it gets
To
to
dvoje
mid-game,
bi po mojem rad
because
videl nazaj.
today has been a sign that if you want to fight early
da,
in
ke gre.
mid-game, you're going to have a lot of problems
Infantry
rotating in
rifle da
early.
pride. Hvala lepa. Kje pa je lebavi? Je za šoloma velik zdajle.
I want to remind you, this is not a single-player game, right? Look at the leaderboard. Not
Okay,
only does
Janči.
Flick, Anas, and Thomas HD have to figure out what to do right with their gameplay, they have to do it better than Vidil, No Riley, and Reason. Amplify, Matzo, Benji, Fishy, Pink, Chulex, and Stompy who have that RPG. It's a one-point game between second and third, one-point game between fourth and fifth, and first is high and dry. This is going to be so difficult for the teams in the top 5 to break through and take the lead, especially when watching a Sancho, right? Reason, No Riley, and Vidil look so good. They're taking fights by storm fast. And they're just ending.
Moje bo spet pametno, zdaj bojo dal tactical stran. Ne, tactical ne bojo dal stran, ni šans. A so sploh kdaj dal tactical ven?
What happens
Ne vem, če so ga dal kdaj ven.
where they're going to find their storm surge tags. They've been taking
Ne vem,
those
če
E-links,
tactical je
they've
bil
been
vedno
taking
not,
those
pa
fights
ga
in the
bojo
coast,
pustali.
doing well.
100%.
That means they could push the Decepticons
Džuro,
and
Colt
Wiki
2
up
pa pol.
north out there in Coral
Nekaj
Castle.
tasga.
They could come down south and maybe find Paco and Raxo. But that ain't going to happen because we know they rotate early. So where does Vidil storm surge tags happen? That's the question.
Hey, just don't let him push K1nzell, man. The man needs a little bit of a break. Last game, that zone was on the bottom right side of the map. He got 9 max zones. All right, Sancho, we got to give Ziptos a little bit of a breather. Let
That's
the
true.
man come back in the game. Don't kick him while he's down. Right now, these guys need to kick up too. And Alex, last game, going down to Surge. What's all that about?
I mean, we talked about, I mean, that rotation was in their backyard. So, right, you know, what happened to them? Like, I mentioned that they were able to walk away with the victory out in their heat coming from that
A so
same
ga že dal
in-game
ven?
situation.
Prejšnja? Kaj?
So
A
fascinating
misliš
to see.
prejšnja, kaj Čikvu?
But hey,
Tako je bilo
you said
prejšnja
K1nzell
sezona
needs
že
to take a
res.
break, but these teams, they don't.
Tako je bilo prejšnja
They
sezona.
have to do something here and now.
It did something a game before, so this is one of the coolest stories in general that end up happening. Inside
shotguny so
finals
bili
or
prejšnja
inside, you know,
sezona?
trios in specific. There'll always be those.
Pozabil sem,
middle of the
kateri
pack
shotguny so
trios
bili
that
prejšnja
put their
sezona.
head up, right? Get some growing pains, get taller.
A sam pa
inside
pa
the rankings.
charge.
These guys
A ja,
have those
combat
pains
je bil.
right now. Their thighs got slightly longer, right? When it comes to
Hvala.
Steady, Teak, and Cami.
Veš, da
But
se
the
bo
thing
splačal
is,
kot nova
fucking
grafična iz
Gun
2,80 na
They were at
3,80
30
ali
points
iz
in the last
i7 na
game,
i9.
just bumped up to 60. To hang with the cool kids who need around 80
Ja, odvisen za
points.
kva rabaš tak
They need to grow
procesor.
again. They need a second puberty. I don't think that's biologically possible.
Pa še ne,
So I'm not
če greš
sure
lahko na
what they have to pull out
3,80
here,
grafično, po
but
moje
it
bolj
has to
što.
be some big adjustments.
Samo moraš pogledati, če ti ta procesor, ki ga imaš zdaj,
Speaking of adjustments, Trulux, Pink Stompy's,
bottleneck
this is not where they
grafično,
wanna
ali
be. They don't
ne
want to
vem,
be
no,
on the
nisem pa
outside of
zihar.
the zone. They're going to do all that they
Hvala,
can to
Tristan.
push forward here. So you talk about the growing pains. Right now, they have a lot of pains going forward, and they got to push through that pain and work together as a trio to get to
Fabi?
what they want to be at center zone.
A, okej, ti
Now
vikend.
here's the first time that we finally get to take a look at the Kids Cantina for a brief moment.
Yes.
Just showing you how so many trios are set up and they're scavenging and they're looking as much as possible to find vital storm surge tags. But when you set up bases like this, people also want that as well. And T. K1nzell said he'd have a lot of neighbors as well fighting for this great
Dva
real
tima
estate
komi mrtva.
where you could get those vital storm surge tags.
TaySona landa
But
v
it's like a
tilted.
different game. It's like they've got one of their teammates, I think it's Steady, just driving around farming and putting down like some wood. Like
With
it's
the
a base
carpet.
building game. They're not even playing Fortnite right now. It's just up the
Carpet.
teak to
It's
land
so
all the
whole
shots.
space.
Everyone else is just on materials duty. That's actually hilarious. They're coming back again.
A se pa to nasečema i7.
It's a retrieve mission. We all know. Hey,
Kaj,
we all
K1nzell
gave
again
ourselves
crashel?
our
What?
heart, man. Steady and Cammy went off
Ne,
in the
ni
retrieve
šans.
mission. The zone has been revealed here. And so that's
Mislim,
what's
Pampa
always
čisto možno to bo.
dangerous, though,
Vedno,
when you set up
vedno je bila
so
Pampa
early.
sama eno
If someone
sezono
knew
ven,
that
to je
Teak was
res.
by themselves, then they
Sam ne
would
bomo
push
videli.
Teak. So now you see Trulix, Pink, and Stompy.
Sam zdaj se da
Their
lever
journey
noter,
is not gonna end at
ki je
edge.
balancena
They're gonna
Pampa v
do all
bistvu.
that they can to get as central
To
as
ne bomo videli.
possible. As you see in here.
Ker
and
če je
look, they
lever
have
not
a
pa Pampa,
long
pol
way to
lever
go.
nima kaj noter
But
delati.
considering that there's no one in front of them, they do have a team at Hunter's Haven. Look at
Če
those
jaz kaj
purple
vlagam
arrows
v
on the map.
delance,
That team is
zelo
set up in
rad
the
bi
base,
vložil
and
kaj v
they're pushing
delance,
up
ampak
closer
me je
and closer,
strah.
and they're going to try to get rotational tags
Ja,
right here
staks.
and right now. And can Trulix and Pink Stompy get in this car to get out of here? This is going to be big here. If
Ne
they
moram
have to
verjeti.
stop,
K1nzell
that's gonna be
nima
bad.
sreče danes čat, res
He's
nima.
going through a valley basically.
Pa
of
se
two
še ni
different teams
konca, ne
looking
se
at
lahko
them.
jutr še
Yep,
I think
yep,
that's
yep.
Teak on the
ne
right side,
doknadijo.
Stays all the way up top. So
Tam
they have to
zmagate
block the
težko
left,
iz,
and then block the right as
če
well.
nisi med
It's a
top
mad
10.
dash towards safety.
Oh, they blocked
Take a
it.
few mats. Oh my god.
Ej, Džuro, to bo
But
čisto
now,
odvisen.
no more
V
cars,
koncu pa
this is
miško
just
to, kar imam
head-to-head.
jaz priporočam.
Straight up, once again
Definitivno.
outside the
Monitor bo
Coliseum,
vsaj 144
but
Hz.
nonetheless, it's a fight in the arena. And it's in between three
Azok je
teams. Yeah,
doniral
it
2
looks
evra
like
in me je
almost
vprašal,
is
kako si.
one just
Azok, jaz sem
spectating,
super,
kinda
kako si ti?
refereeing the match
Hvala
in
ti
the
za 2
middle.
evra, hvala.
These guys are like, what? Are we catching a halftime break right now? What happens? Paco Raxo don't want to go up against Savage?
No, they don't want to. They rather try to get their tags on weight from people rotating around.
Jani si dobil 2 kila.
had those fights early game, but this is a good
Ugbo je
opportunity.
knock-out.
That's why you have
Jani
the
dobil
four
še kill.
corners of the square taken up by multiple trios here. It's really nice. You don't have to worry about someone chopping you up to get a decent. Like if you want to go back to, I guess, to start industry, it's that big elevated mountain. It's not as tall as that, but or Polar Peak 2.0. You know, not as tall, but still it's a great vantage
A ja,
point.
kameru
to
sem
get all
pozabil
eyes on
premakniti. Oh,
rotations.
fuck. Sorry.
There's like 4 different teams up here now.
Sorry, chat.
Hold up. Let me just hold my eyes a little bit further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Če te pa strah.
different teams.
Sedača, če sem je strah,
on
ja,
Colossal Coliseum.
če nekam vložim denar pa da ga zgubim.
They know something we don't know. They've seen
Andraž,
every
to,
zone.
ta
I mean,
Razor Hansen, ki vam jaz je
Zay
dosti
in the
glasna,
I've
ja.
said this before in the broadcast. Literally took screenshots of every single zone.
Juško,
he's
uložiti
participated
denar v
in
delance.
And in the FNCS. And you know that there's people out
Džuro,
there,
Samsung,
pros
jaz
in
10
other
imam.
regions go, you know what? That's probably a good idea. And most likely they're already doing it.
Oh, I see what it is. Let me scratch off Colossal Coliseum on this minimap. It's actually called Cluttered Cul-de-sac. It's just a space for people to base up, chill out, maybe start a family.
Tisti, vlagati v delance s 5 evri je brez veze.
That's the damage, right? Trying to get spicy
Če ti hočeš kaj iz tega
what they can do. One big thing
dobiti
about
ven,
bunkering up at Colossal Coliseum
je
is that
dobro,
you're also
da
basically forced to
to vsaj
rotate
Jurija daš, ampak
with
je ta zga
everyone
noter.
that's there as well. We've seen it happen when the zone has to bounce from right to left. Every team clashing with each other. I think
Nah,
IDRop,
Juro,
TaySona,
cool,
and
yeah.
Savage might have some magnets in their pockets because there's always some teams, they're always playing just like this. Where
Kiki,
they
si ti
have to
napisal,
keep
kjer
someone
miško imam,
beside
si
them.
ti gor
They
napisal.
itch damage with them over and over again. We saw them jumping over Andretta in a game. In another game, it was Vadil Noah Riley.
Čak, kje
It's
pa,
always the team,
kje pa
this time it's
Savage?
six.
Aj Savage mrtev?
Yo, dude, Savage is where Deadfire's house is. He's way over there. Like, that's how far they're split.
Oh, there's splits?
Yeah, they're
No
split.
way.
I took a look at
Dobar,
Savage is
ček,
way
po
out in the
bitko.
distance, so I guess
Bitcoin je
they're gonna wait
drugač.
for the Storm
Nobena
to
stvar ne
reveal
bo
the next
tako,
safe
po
zone
moje,
and see what's
da
happening, but
več,
Squares
da
is
bo
such an
nekaj toliko
interesting
zrasla.
dilemma that they have in front of them.
I like that because it's kind of a
Pač
solution
investirati s
to being
5
magnetized to
evri.
every trio, right? If you have that space, if you
Po
control
moje ti
more
večina
space,
aplikacij ti
yeah,
sploh ne
teams will have
dovoli,
more
da sam
options,
5
right?
evrov
They'll
daš
be able
gor,
to have a
kolikor
safe
jaz vem.
link over to Savage, or Savage will have a safe link over to them and a better vantage point as well. You'll notice for Queasy, Paco, and
Sam
Raxo
to je
right
spet,
now,
Čiko, to je
every
itak
team on that
gamble, a veš,
Coliseum is forced
ti
to look a
investiraš
certain
5
way,
evrov,
and have
pa...
more control of a certain way.
Azok je
For
rato še
Savage,
mali
that
bist,
control is a
Azok,
little bit
hvala ti.
wider.
Zapornite
Yeah,
membri,
basically
hvala
play
ljubi
off.
za Azokov, če pozdravljam, hvala ti, hvala, kako si?
For some reason, congested still. Didn't get the push way far away.
Ja, samo je rekel
from
5
Dirty
evrov,
Dogs.
Čikvo.
They're hunkered down against the steamy
Pač ni
Stacks
moraš,
team.
pri delancah
No
moraš
Sancho,
delati na
both
dolgi
these
rok.
teams got
Če delaš na
loadouts. Both
kratki
these
rok, na
teams
hiter
want to
zaslužek,
make
je
and
vse
make.
sam gamble.
It's not a fight they want to take, but they might have to because of Surge.
Yeah, and Flicka, Nos, and Thomas HD, they did get contested, so they may be right in it, and they have Bush Ranger out there chopping down builds, so things are going to get quite spicy here. It's
Pač edino, kar sem zdaj gledal, da bi investiral v Teslo, pa Nio, ne, sam ne vem, lej.
Teams that are looking for Storm Surge tags on
Rad bi
mountaintops.
pa me
And that-
krat
look
full
at the
strah.
minimap. It's literally on a mound right now. That's why you have two prime teams who are very intelligent, love positional warfare. They know exactly where to be. And for the moment, they decide it's not going to be worth trying to push into this hard map base of Andretta. Instead, we'll get Storm Surge tags as down goes
Oh,
ZQ
Benji.
and CRR.
Benji od trio.
It's going to be really
A sam na tle.
tough for Leo to hold down this pressure on Nebs,
Nokal,
Milo, and
nokal
Cisse.
sem ga.
This is just tough overall. This is a 22-point team fighting a 52-point team, and one of their best fighters is now down. In terms of story for the finals, if you are at these thresholds, 50 and below, this is that turning point game. You need to do
Ker je moj
something
najgan v
to push
Fortniteu.
forward to get higher in the pack.
Pač zelo rad imam sniper, drugače, ne? Sam pač je pa tudi preveč broken, če jih je toliko velik. Ampak po moje, ne vem.
Leo on his last attempts here. Out.
Kaj bi sniper pa pampa mi je tako pač, glede po občutku je dober občutek, ker nekoga snajmaš, kar pampnaš za 200. Z delanca se težko čisto zajebeš. Mislim, ja, delance, če si pameten pa to, pa da daš, da če zgubiš 30%, da ti ven vzame, pač ja, sam še vedno si izgubi, a ne? A veš, pač, nikoli ne veš. Žazek, ja. Najljubši skin v Valorantu. Glitch pop skini so dobri. Ker gaming to imaš. Mavic M9.
may not be able to get a lot of beams going through it. A lot of congested area will happen. metal tarps will have to go out. And
Lol,
those
już to,
catacombs are just so difficult to pierce through on height if it ends up a colossal
koliko verjamem,
Colosseum.
ja.
Now let's take a look here at the
Prime
zone
skine
here.
imam
Remember,
take
Fort Zone's
drugače.
getting a little bit closer.
Prime
A
skine
lot of
imam.
people in this lobby like
Drugače
to fight on
karavit
the
mi je ful
edge.
všeč.
So far, a couple of trios are near the
Denotes,
center.
vem, da je point, da
So
prodaš
far,
takrat, ko
I'm
veš
taking a
sam.
look at the feed.
Ti, če
Stompy is still
delaš
up.
na
So
dolgi
that
rok, ti ne
Truex
boš
trio,
prodal
no
zato,
doubt,
ker dobiš
most likely near
5%
that
več.
center. And like you mentioned, Shayo, a
Pač ti
lot of
daš
fans
recimo
on the rotations. What
noter
happens, actually,
denar,
Truex
pa daš, da
gets
če zgubiš več kot
eliminated
30%, ti avtomatsko morda, ampak če zaslužiš na 31% plusa, da proda, recimo. Ampak recimo iz Tesla pa to se doskrat ne splača. Je boš, da pustiš za 5 let pa pol. Vzameš, a veš kaj mislim, na dolgi rok moraš igrati. Pač nikoli ne veš, kako bo na dolgi rok tudi. Mislim, lažje veš na dolgi rok, ampak pač Tesla bo itak krasna, se mi zdi. Meni osebno se zdi, no. Glede na to, da imajo električne stvari pa to, ka bo itak prihodnost. Tole full stack. To je insane stack zdajle. Pač 69 timov je še živih, mislim playerjev.
This is not where they want to be. I will say that as
Prime
much as
Phantom je tudi
possible,
lep, ja.
making sure to tell you that
To
they're
kaj je
not
za Tesla
comfortable
delnice imel.
here.
Vsaj mislim, da jih ima še
They don't
zmer
like to be on the
tega
edge. They don't like max pulls. They like short rotations. We'll see they're able to
A,
survive as a duo
Džura,
in
za
this
dodaten
deadly
ga pa
rotation
karkoli
as they
najdeš,
have to go
tako bom rekel.
completely through Colossal Coliseum. Flick, Anas, and Thomas here. They still
Denotes
in a very
Tesla bo še
precarious
rasla,
situation
definitivno.
here. Short rotation.
Še bo v plusu.
But we're talking about a rotation with Andretta. That's not going to be easy. And then you have the likes of Knifer, Patty, and Vino, who are very
Pač Nio pa
aggro
Tesla bo
players.
skos
They're gonna
rasel,
push
po
you as well.
moje.
And look, Amplify
Zato, ker
Maxo
to je
Benji
prihodnost
already
pač naša,
getting
ki bo,
that
ne,
center of the
s
zone.
tehnologijo.
So now you know, Shayo, we talked about space control. Look at them. They're already building
Juško,
out
ni
just a little
panike,
bit,
ni
no understanding
panike.
how valuable that space is.
A ne, serverji pač definitivno, ki je toliko folka živga, je težko igrati.
Yes.
100%.
They want that.
Zdaj, Martin, nikar sem govorim o tem, da si ne upam vložiti, bi pa rad. Bi rad vložil, kaj sam moram več vedeti o tem, no, preden začnemo lagati, se mi zdi. Sam ne vem, kje ne se tako kaj naučim moram. Če imam hibrida, jaz nimam avta. Ja, pa si si member, Juško. Čet, zdaj itak pada, pa sej skos, lej. Začetek leta vedno delance padajo, konc leta so pa vedno na najvišji točki. Pač ne bo bilo skos gor. Definitivno bo padal pa to, zato ker to je tudi vezi, kako folka, ne. Dela, če folk uloži noter, ker smo ti že noter, boš dubo, a ne. To je od folka odvisen, to se itak skos spreminja, zato moš pa na dolgi rok. Bara, ne, sam itak predencah moraš igrati na dolgi rok. On vem, da vlaga, ja, ga znam.
A god angle with the heavy AR to hit headshots. You know they come in strong, 80, 90 damage per pop. Not gonna be there though. We'll look at Yup, just on height, looks like a squeeze and Alex. Surviving and thriving so far. Past that, Joe and Jerky right below them. Taking shots on the Miro, who also had a very good game just before.
Ja, to je tako Denotes. Lightstone je stoji 2 evra. Hashtag Valorant better than Fortnite. Ne, obi igri sta dobri. To sploh ne moreš primerjati, ker sta dve čisto različni igri. Ampak ja, zelo uživamo v Valorantu, definitivno. Offstream veliko igram. Mislim, a ne, short tam je tako dosti gambala, veš. Short tam je bolj, kako je folk tudi. Kogar je bilo to zdaj, ki si videl, ono, ne? Da so imeli te Wall Street bets. Čas, zdaj sem se čist zamotil, tako da ne vem, aj taj sem še živ, ne? Zdaj sem se čist zagovoril, moram nehat. Desipto si mrtev. Kvizi tudi. Vadil je na kanal mrtev. Parizon tudi. To je dobar, to je dobar. A, Voixy je umrl.
But the question, now that the zone goes north, that's going to be a good rotation for Flick, Thomas, and Anas, because now they don't have to go into
Pač odvedila trio je cel mrtev, zdaj mislim, da.
But again, Andretta's right near them.
What's your legacy for day one? What message have you put down on
Da, dajmo se zdaj koncentrirati na igro, ajde.
that $1.3 million prize pool? That's the question for a lot of people so far in this game 5. We'll see Flick, Thomas, and Anas moving around saying, yeah, we had one good game and a few hiccups here and there, but we're trying our best to make sure this next one's good. Fighting for low though, that's gonna be very
TaySona
tricky.
height, nice!
Flick is a very
Dajte
dangerous
zone
spot where
dobiti.
he's not only
Dubte
looking for
zone, ajde.
positions, but he's looking to cut off trios.
O, ne,
And
Janis ima še
Stompy
večji
and
height,
Pink
sam.
are actually alive and surviving. This is going to be big because remember, they are sliding already down with a 0-point performance.
Dajte en zone TaySona v Fortnite, en zone TaySona. Pa zdajle pridejo mat top 3, ajde. A pa top 5 vsaj.
They have an opportunity here. Let me take a look at closer where they are. This is so much leaderboard change that's happening here. They're in third place. So they were in first, they got a 0 point, slid down to third. That's how important it is to get some points now that we're in the 17th place. Placements are doling out.
Koliko je to stacked, chat, holy shit. Zdaj so se šele placementi začeli. Prvi moving. Aj dubo TaySona zona, ne? Mislim, da je dubo zon. Tako, Đuro. Azuk, 5 evrov! Napisuje, če TaySona zmaga, še 1 evro. Zmenan. Tede srčko, chat, za Azuka. Hvala ti, legend support, hvala ti. Hvala, res. Take your time, Voixy.
And this is right here. The end game is where they kick up, and this is where they collect a lot of elims. But again, it's due to their power, weapons, and their ability to get big-time damage in milliseconds. One quick edit, one quick
Ezek, hvala ti res še enkrat za 5 evrov. Hvala ti za vas support. Hvala vsem don za support, res ste insane. O, Janis pa te imajo hide. Čak, kje so pa TaySona te zdaj? Pa se če bil še živ, pa sem povedal. Sem prej mislil, da ga ni bilo. Thomas HD kill.
Is it enough to crack and deal damage? I don't think so. You have to get a lot closer, and this is a very high tarp.
That Chapix is all he's doing is opening up the door for Janice to send in the AR beams. Those pistol beams, you can sneak in those small bullets. They go through the cracks of build sometimes. But right now, Thomas HG is going through really fast, pushing forward. Someone's on their layer. It is Sniper Patty. They're going in, box time as much as possible. The defense is a little bit strong. They're going to try to find another angle, and they're just one point away. They catch Sniper finally.
Ne, Umplify je dubo Savage-a pa TaySona. Oh, fuck. Spet je sam še iDrop živ. Vedno, skoro vse igre je bil iDrop na koncu sam še živ. In TaySona je umrl, chat. Fuck, tudi njim ne gre dober danes, tudi njim ne gre dober. Slaba. Hvala Bogu je čez 2 dni, tako da jutr lahko še vedno nadoknadijo. Mislim, imajo še eno igro po tejle, ampak slaba.
As one other player dips down enough to make sure all the mats look good. Benji and Amplify have to elevate up. It's too sandy down below. They can't find their footing. So they have a very good mid-ground there down below, though. Flick is fine getting dirty. 2 shots, Thomas finds another. Now with a big flip round, it's almost there. Flick is insane. Stassi goes down.
Flick, zdaj tole je bilo insane, kar je naredil.
And Flick is high and alive. Anasto is the consequence to that. He goes down. It's a 2-man operation, but that's when these guys operate best.
Thomas HC as well picking up feeds. They are doing it as a solo performance, but they have so much investment here. This Benji's right there. He sees it, and Flick goes with the layer switch. He has no business of that, but he has to be careful because he could get tripped down below. Only down to 5 builds here. Now down to nothing. Gets caught for a moment.
GG Flick. Benji. Benji od trio los zdaj pride na prvo mesto, chat. Drugi so bili pred to igro. Pa no, pa te so itek že mrtvi.
Right now, Benji's trio's in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Hen, Chapix, and Janice are looking to elevate all the way from 4th.
8 killov imajo. Benji je nokan. Meco je dobil še kill. Top 3 so prišel spet, insane. Benji to... Nisem pričakoval, da bo Benji pa nego 3 tako dobro igral. Čaj, Denotes pravča, TaySona zmaga, da bo face reveal.
Boom! Big slide, 116 right there. Big tag from Hen, and they're almost going to wrap up this nice victory royale. They have
Janis pa te so zmagali tole drugo.
Actually, Hen gets hit.
Yep.
Janice, yes, there it is.
GG's. Dejte vsi GG's v chat. Zdaj vas bom spustil zapora, takoj se zahvalim za donacijo. Sekundica. Hvala ti. Sam da spustim. Kola. Evo, okej. Žuro dneva, evo, skoro bi rabil TikTok, pa bi moral plesati tam. Ja, najbolj, da plešem na TikToku. Imam TikTok, sam... Imam par videov gor, no, ampak ne iz plesanja, tako da. 4x1, kaj 4x1? Ajde, da vidimo. Še ena igra je danes, pa jutr. Da vidimo finish. Prvi so zdaj Janis, Hem pa Ugvej 134 točk. Drugi še vedno Benji, Amplify, Metzl 130. Plik, Anas, Tomas, tretji 105, četrti Vadil, Nova, Rizon. Pa imamo Trulek se zdaj 6. mesto. TaySona 10. 78 točk, pač še vedno ne. 60 točk, to je en tak gen, ki so imeli prej novo polunija, ne, ampak... Ej, mislim, je še 7 iger do konca, ne, še 7 iger, tako da definitivno še ni konc. Ko so pa, K1nzell pa te pa spet, ja, 29 so. K1nzell pa tem res ne gre. Res mi je žal za K1nzell-a. Ok, ja, TaySona pa Savage pa iDrop morajo definitivno se jutri izkazati. Še ena igra je, no, še zdaj TaySona pa Savage pa iDrop dobro odigrajo. Pa da dobijo recimo ene 40 točk, pa so že tukaj gor, ne, med top 5 pridejo. Pa imajo pol lahko, pač že te, vsi, ki so med top 10, imajo še šanso, da zmagajo, ne. Ker je še toliko velik iger. Sam, če bo oni top 5 po tele igri, so na dobri poti, definitivno. Kaj ne smeta? Magical. Pa Magical! Kaj ne veš, poleg TaySona pa K1nzell-a, za Benji Fish, ja. No, pogled tweet od Kvizija. Pa, kva imate vsi tok s temi tweeti? Holy. Ko sploh ima Kvizi? Aha. Kaj se je zgodil? Gledam. 1 minuto dolg klip, what the fuck? Kolik lega, what the fuck? A to, kad to lega? To po moje tok... Pač... A veš kaj, to so dejansko najbolj stacked igre do zdaj. Pač, toliko živih ljudi je... To ne moreš igrati, to je res, to je preveč lagi. Upam, da to fiksajo serverje. Ajde, folk, ugotavljite. Kdo je zmagal? Še ena igra je danes, pa jutri še 6 iger, tako da jutri še razvijamo, kdo zmaga. Lahko bo gledaš Instagram DM, prosim. Kva? Kaj se te zarisati vedno težje? A si ti Mark Tavčar 9 slučajno? A zdaj itak nam videl v čatu. Ampak če ja vse ne morem kar tako šerat, ker ne vem kaj točen tudi je to. Že smo ugotovili, ok, nice, ta je bila hitrejša. Kakšen Minecraft. Denotes. Denotes noob. Ajde, pa gremo do 700 lajkov, ajde, stisnite like. Gaj Gojkovič je še rad mali biti. Gaj, pozdravljam tudi ti v bistvu. In hvala ti, legenda, za podaj. Hvala, danes sem za supporter. Zdaj te me bari. Hvala ljubi za Gaja, lepo prosim še. Ej, Denotes tiho. Res hvala vam za tak support. No, sploh pa to danes je insane. Res. Pa že včeraj začek smo turnir igrali, bilo insane. Pač, jaz naslednjo sezono se moram potruditi, pa bolj tryhardat Fortnite, da bom lahko igral, da bo ta Edic pa Pavka Boy hotla z mano igrati v FNCS. Zakaj? Zato, ker full sta v redu, vi ste full uživali, ko smo gledali, noben je šel nobenemu živce in se mi zdi, da bo za content full dober in po mojem bom naslednjo sezono res orang probu, no? Da bom kaj boljš odigral. Sam zaradi tega, ker se mi zdi, da z njimi igrate toliko zabavno in ne bi rad zgolj te možnosti, da z njima igram. Gremo za par, 5 sekund, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zadnja igra do nas, pa še jutri 6 iger. Ajde, prosim, Tyson, dej pop-offite zdaj, no?
I think that this fight kind of hurt them a little bit, you know? Yeah, they got the Storm Surge, yeah, they were able to get this trio out.
Like a sfero, dude.
It kind of like it kind of was a big roadblock, a little bit of not a speed bump, I would say a roadblock on their way on their rotations, and no doubt they wanted a better finish.
Pa težko je igrati tako, težko je.
I think in the previous match, it might have been better if the zone pulled away further, and it could really slot in where they wanted to for the end game. With things being so central towards Colossal Coliseum, after the fight ended, they didn't get to dictate how to play their game. For Noah Riley Vidal, I believe they went out very early in that last game as well. Only towards that top spot. Yes, 22nd is when they went down in game number 5. If you guys haven't watched the finals
še 2 evra. Ne, Denotes jutri streama, pa še njemu 2 evra dam. Denotes si slišal. Ej, se sem zamenil ta kamero, Ivan. Hvala ti še 2 evra, Azuk. Hvala.
It's 100% true, but at the same time, if after the first 6 games,
Yep,
you're
Juško,
playing
točno
well,
to.
you're in first place, you know your strategy is working, you're sending a message to anyone who's going to try to, you know, fight you off of spawn. You have momentum and a big pedestal coming into the second day. If you falter, the work you do today can save you. That's what everyone's trying to do. Flick, trying to hit the sniper shot, not gonna work. You're wondering something.
Hvala ti, Azuk, še enkrat za 2 evra. Hvala ti, res. In so double damage tle.
It's not just Thomas that can hit those snipes. But yeah, I didn't even realize this. They barely even get any surge, and they get half their loot stolen.
Exactly. Thieves in the night. For the EU side of things, now we're taking a look at it. Looks like the retail row boys will find themselves a llama if they can find it, but this is going to be a zone centered over here in the southeast side of things. So that means and Alexis Trio is going to be able to go ahead and make a lot of movement. Maybe that's going to benefit them. They could go hunt the scavenger routes, but it just seems in this finals, the scavenger routes and the people that retail row, even the people at Misty Meadows, they're just not finding their footing here.
Tole je 6. igra, zadnja do nas. Jutri imamo še 6 pol.
Have to look out for going forward. It's going to be intense here, man. You want to leave, you want to put your head in your pillow with the good vibe, saying that you did it, and it's Flick is going to go ahead and finish this fight against Vox. They already got a snipe on Egram there, so that's going to be a huge factor going forward. Is now we see Egram is really low, had to dip it into his heels, only just above 100 HP. As Thomas HT has another opportunity to set up the pinch here, but some Storm Surge tag coming from way out in the distance. It's going to make Flick just think about for a split second here.
But now
on the back foot. Egram is down, and the trio has been wiped. I'm just waiting for Nas Thomas and Flick to go supernova, man. I'm just waiting for it. They did it before, man, and when you looked at that 26
če prijemno, ufala se sa finala mora iti angleščina. Ja, ne vem, če bi jaka, veš, to je... Mislim, če bi jaz dejansko rato dober v Fortniteu, če bi se zlažil, kaj ta se zdaj, bi bilo neumno, da ne bi šel na angleščina, ja, samo sam.
I think they really missed those Storm Surge tags. They really did, because they did not have a great game in that previous match.
I'll bounce back. I think the theme for the top 3 right now is just consistency over time. Everyone is getting a lot of points or moving through these games, or as a team with one big swing. Big swing teams I'm looking at right now, second place, Benji Fishy. Relying a lot on pop-off wins. Although you have 12 games, you might get more of them. If there's teams playing consistently, like the ones we see in first place, Han Janis and Chapix, like Flick, Anas, Thomas HD, your pop-off swing might not be enough.
You know, and pop-offs, that goes up, but there's also as well when you get popped and you go down.
Pas jest
That's
mały
happened
Voixy.
right there with Pink's trios right there, looking for an opportunity. They started off going into the
Juško, ti si zelo
set
slep,
of
vedno
games
si
of the
bil.
day in the first place, now slipping down to 6th place.
A pogledal
But
do
that
igra
just
700
means Pink
lajkov.
and Stompy, they did a great job holding on as much as possible, maybe getting a little bit of hero points just to keep them in that top 10.
It's always that first game, first place curse. But besides that as well, we're showing a lot off about the top 10, rightfully so. There's some cooler stories as well down below for people trying to make it up the rankings. Mr. J, the trio I think we're looking at dropping near Sweaty Sands and around the desert, as well as Miro, are very interesting.
Sam res chat, jaz imam jutri zelo dolg stream. Ob 3 igramo turnir. Z Edicom pa Pavko.
They're building themselves up to move higher in the
Pa
rankings.
gledamo
Mr. J
finale.
right now is at 9th,
sedmih.
Miro in 7th. If you're talking about Supernova Sancho, this is a star that might explode in this game.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, as well, we talked about consistency.
Govori TaySonu. Ne slabo pa ne dober, tako pač vmes.
You're talking about
Deseti
Teddy
so.
being a DreamHack Duos finals winner. You talked about T.
O, en kill imajo, contestani so.
That consistency is ringing true for them here today.
Koliko len shvati tem za en euro, hvala ti. Big, deseti so, deseti. Hvala ti, Rok. Jutri je turnir za skin, jep.
So they're doing
Res je.
something right. They're getting their storm surge where they need it, and they're not taking unnecessary fights. But this is what I predict iDrop's TaySona to do well today. And I still think they're going to have a great chance of being a champion, right?
Still, you predicted iDrop, Savage, and TaySona to do well. Savage not alive in this last game right now.
Okay, yes, you great point there. The point I wanted to make is when I looked at them going into these games, they had very strong rotations. They were very aggressive. They used the Stanton, they used the crystals. They went to Pleasant Park. We saw them in qualifiers going all the way down.
But then what happened last game, right? They looked like they had height. They had a 5th zone advantage, a vantage point on everyone. Suddenly, when we tune back in, they're lost. They're not there.
And that's my point, is I know they have it in them. They've done it before, but they have a day to think about it.
Raketma, what
And
the
they
fuck?
still have this match here.
A ja, tako je tega komentatorja govorita. Ne vem, kva je... Ne vem, kako so zgubali hype prej. Kaj nismo videli.
The Stig in the build. Looks like Artox in that trio is ready for it, and this is the Misty Meadows trio going up to fight
lahko noč Bigs. Daj se pa te klače jutri, lej. Definitivno ni konc, ker ne igra toliko slabo, da ne bi mogala, ne. Še vedno so dosti bliz. Pač če jutri zmagajo 2 igri, ali so top 3, 2 igri pa veliko killov, so že nazaj.
They're going to be opposed by a stronger team. It's not going to be so easy. So that's where I see where they're falling a little bit short. We know what they're capable of. They have a lot of championship pedigree in them. As Trulix almost, Artex, dude, almost had that 100%, just misses here. This is going to be big. If Zone pulls down south, Trulix is going to be very strong in this area. So I'm just interested. Look at this investment, though, right?
Nah, see, I'm actually on the opposite side of that.
Okay,
it's pulled down to this area multiple times. I'm about to speak some facts.
Hit me with it.
Pa okej, doniral 1 euro, pa je napisal jojo. Kje si pa, Pavka, da sem te na Discordu sprejem. Hvati za 1 euro, Pavka. A pa še Kmetko 1 euro. Tudi on je napisal post. Kmetko pa Pavka, pozdravljena oba, hvala obima za 1 euro, hvala vama. A sprejem na Discord, pa Voixy si slišal, kaj sem prej rekel. Zdaj sem si že tudi pogovarjal. Ne vem, koliko dolgo si že na streamu.
With the elevated level of competition, that is so much more so difficult in these games. Having the RPG is dope, but being able to use it at the right times is endgame.
A tak, včeraj smo bili 101.
How do you play out those games?
Bringing in another layer to this conversation. We see in the previous season, Mongrel, Mitro, and TaySona were able to have a big lead going into day 2. And that big lead was able for them to hold on just as long as possible. Because when they got to games 4, 5, and 6 of that second day, they're kind of move up the leaderboard, hit a dead stop as multiple teams started contesting Stark Industry. So they had to go all the way down to Sweaty Sands to where Andalix and Janice and Xweez were there. And they slowed them down because they were in second place. And from then on, the first and second place, multiple matches, Shayo, like in the second half of that day,
Ja, to kar zdaj govorijo.
probably got
Pač prejšen
6 points between
Palac
both of
za
them.
ne, ki je Tyson zmagal s Mongrelom pa Mittertom. Oni so bili full, oni so full vodili v prvem dnevu, pa so pa skoraj zgubali, pač skoraj niso zmagali drug dan, tako da veliko se da še spremeniti. To definitivno še ni konca, na 6 iger, še pol jutra je insane veliko.
To say we still have a chance in day 2.
Okay, I like the idea.
Fisti, če hočeš biti Fist level 4, oziroma zdaj imam to, prav, čakaj, kaj je level 4? Je to Megabist?
But there is no power POI.
Ja, to je Megabist. Sam pač izbrat ga moraš. Tam, kad klikneš članstvo, če imaš v slovenščini, klikneš pa pol moraš tam zbrat, ker bi bil, ne pa lahko upgradaš. Ja, sam duo sta zdaj, to igro sta sam duo, ja. Savage je mrtv. A je mrtv ali ga je crashal, se ne vem. Vem, da so bili kontestani. Benji full dobar igram danes. Mislim, njegov trio. Nisem pričakoval.
Yeah, since season 11, true. I think that's chapter 2, season 1. So
that's right.
The big thing about today is that for players like Benji, who like to operate off of adaptability more, rather than just following a very certain item meta, it's really good for you to move around and place in these games. Now the issue is, if you're in first, then it's harder to hold on to. If you're like Maxi, Michael, and Verox on screen right now, 88 points, if you're in the top 8, having an advantage is not going to be as exploitable. You'll have to do even more. So it's going to be a tough ride for everyone, and that's why we're seeing a lot of, like, I don't know, glue stick type of rotations, a lot of sticky games. Because no one really has breakout moments right here. You have to play very, very personable and team-based, more so than item-based.
It's very tethered, man. Everyone has intelligent engagements. They know when to disengage. They understand what's on the line.
K1nzell nima nobenega zona danes, res.
Strong the placement points are. Victory out 30, second points 25th, 25 points, third place 20 points, 4th to 17 you get doled out point per each advancement, but it's just showing you how vital it can be. And Michael Verox and Mexi now have to go dip into the hard mats here, as now they're getting those tags here. When you make these rotations, teams like Hen, Janice, and Chapix, who have the eyes on you, could send down the beams, and they know they need this because 261 above is great, but they're not going to be able to go for a box fight here since they're sitting in center. But look at Stomping Pink and Trulix investing on the highest peak in the Fortnite island.
Okay, this might be the change that's necessary, 100%. And we keep talking about game state, so I'll leave it at this to help you give a picture of what today kind of looks like, right? Definitely a ladder, and every team is kind of like a rung on that ladder right now. But for me, and what I'm looking at in this game, it's kind of like down below or in the middle, the ladder is a little bit sturdier. The higher you go, the less reliable the materials are. Picture like anyone from 15th to 10th place. At this moment in this game, they have like steel rungs. The ladder is made out of steel. As we go higher towards the top 5 right now, it's made out of wood, glass.
Skaj kaže lik zdaj, kaj je zone now. Kje je zone?
Flip it all up. Very unfortunate. So all the consistent players right now.
Chat, Trulix pa te so zone dubal na unmu hribu.
If Hen goes down here, he loses
Pa
first.
rocket launcher imajo. Ja, okej.
If someone like,
To je insane.
Melgard loses a little bit of a game. He
O,
goes down
tale
from
Stone Surge
13th
ni toliko
to
zdaj,
maybe
dva rabta samo
15th,
mret.
16th to 17th, right? He doesn't move that much. For these high point teams, for anyone above 100 points in triple digits, this is going to be the most polarizing game of their match history so far.
In looking at their history, sometimes Hen, Chapix, they make that rotation, and sometimes they get caught on a snipe. Hen always is looking for a big opportunity to get an elim, sometimes gets knocked. We have seen that they, you know, Janice is able to reach into that championship solo performance and understand to survive just a little bit longer. You know, so that's what's they're going to be so dangerous to them. That's their obstacle. Can they survive together? Because if one of them goes down, it has to be Hen or Janice.
Oh, spet imajo Storm Surge.
Dangerous as well. Like I mentioned,
Oh,
you go to a place where you're
imajo
trying to
dober
play
spot,
position,
sam.
you're going to have to hit your shots. And if you don't hit your
Za koliko je
shots,
zadev? Za
you're going
20?
to face the trouble of the Storm Surge. And this is going to be huge.
Pet
That's gonna
buff
signify that
so,
team down
omega.
below that they have an
Pa sam še en rap
opportunity
umret.
to get this, but I don't think anyone's going to go up here. I honestly don't know what this trio's plan right now is, considering that Zone is north of them.
I understand it. I get it. It's a very good vantage point to be able to deal damage down. The issue is there's only 2 teams next to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah.
I get it, but I'm excited to see what they do from it because it's so different. You know what I mean?
It's like going to like a party that's advertised to be the best, but there's only 2 people there. Songs are gonna be banger.
Te
You understand? Like,
komentatorji.
it looks good, but
Mislim, če bi TaySona 50 točk, da bi lahko jutro prišel v top 5. Ama top 5 lahko pridejo tudi te, ki so vzaj. Definitivno pač. 1-2 pop-off game pa si na vrh. Že en pop-off game te prineselo. Pač lej, Nova, v Deepovil, ki so zmagali uno igro, so dubali 60 točk. Še več, 70 točk so dubali v eni igri. A so? Čak, a ti da, Vinti da 45, a ne tukaj. Pa so zmagali 14 kill, kar je plus 28. Pač, to je 78 pik. Da se ne motam. Če je pač Win 45, kar je velik, z eno igro ti prideš gora, ne? Ej, Jaka, jaz upam drugač. Jaz mislim, pač je možno, no, da ko bo nova sezona, da začnemo iz sami spet full rast pa to.
This zone line's not as organized, right, Sancho? We were looking at lines before. We were looking at school halls, kids going to recess, like some really, really strict lining up for every single trio. It's a little bit more clustered from what it looks like right now. You can see it on the mountain, right? It's a little bit more variance of where everyone's actually placed around. I think people are pushing more for individuality.
K1nzell zaenkrat še ni, lej, še eno zono ni dobil zdaj le K1nzell.
CRR sniped again. The man can't catch a break.
I know that, oh man, those are always dangerous when you look at their performances. They sometimes get caught. They always try to go for free rotations, and sometimes you go for that free rotation, you pay the toll, and if it ends up being
2 evra, 20 lajkov pa se postrižeš. Da se se lik postrigel. Aj, ovo si zdaj gremo do igre 800, hvala ti za 2 evra, hvala ti. Jaka, sam sebe zdaj imam tudi več. Mislim, da je za Win 30 točk. Zihar. Da se pravi, top 17, naprej je 1 točko, vse do top 3, se pravi, čak 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, se pravi 13 pik, plus tretje mesto je 6, kar je 19, drugo mesto je plus 5, je 24, pa Win je 6, 30 točke, ja. Se pravi, so dobili 58 pik so dobili z unom Winom. Prav imaš, 30 točke, ja.
If everyone rotates dead side, is it still dead side?
No, it's not.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's like a Frankenstein zone at that point then. But still moving on, Blackie.
Kje so TaySona pa te zdaj, so sploh še živi? Mislim, Azuk, vem da je joke, saj sem pa tako odgovoril sarkastično. Kaj, TaySona je dobil vejke, ja nisem videl, fuck. Čakaj, Joško. Reason no, pa te morajo umreti. Ne smejo dobijati pik. Vadil je nok, sam še Reason je. Dobil je kill. Trulek se je dobil nok. TaySona je dobil Desiptosa. TaySona pa K1nzell se skozi fajtata, vedno, stari. Njuna triota se vedno med sabo. Že je četrtič danes. O, iDrop je umrl. Aj sam iDrop umrl.
Wow. I'm just shocked that Blackie's trio, who we haven't seen throughout the broadcast day, is the one that loses.
So takele cinematike bi oni mogli narediti, da še vedno vidiš, kdo umre pa kdo živi. Denotes tega sploh še nisem slišal. Ja, TaySona je še živ, TaySona je še živ.
Just 3 people to go down. They might be able to out-heal this zone, but look at their inventory, Sancho. 4 minis just on Verox. 2 free slots. These guys have already used so much.
Trujec pa te imajo hajta, pa še rocket imajo. Insane. Mislim, dobro, mogli bojo rotirati, ampak...
Big time. They need the clicks as much as possible.
You're talking about the party coming straight to the door, 100%. That mountain looks like paid off big dividends for Trulex. They'll be able to move straight towards a better spot at Caddy Corner, but they do have the high ground lead on the lobby.
I got egg on my face and it's on the...
Zdaj se mi, da TaySona pa njegov trio danes fulkrat so sami v endgameu, tako nikoli niso cel trio, ne. TaySona je lih kar umrl. Rip, to je to. Slaba.
Yeah, it's another one. And look, they had to leave because Pink, but actually they're bouncing to the next opportunity.
Niso placementov dobil sploh.
Opportunity, and they're there, and they're going to send RPGs back to Teak,
Še 4 rakete ima.
ETQ, so they're not going to be able to bounce over. This is the power of the RPG, and they're executing it beautifully.
RPG is only effective at a certain range. I'm not sure if this is the right call to make. Because if Zone does pull to that side, there's natural low ground there, Sancho. There's no point in RPGing this. 3 sent by Trulex. He's gonna use all of them here. He's playing on the 13-second 50-50. Depending on where the zone actually lands, they can't do anything off those rockets.
Trulex is the leader in this. He's the tarper. That's why he's been given the bouncers. He's the one that has eyes on height most of the time. He is the head of the snake. He's going to make a strike as much as possible.
Oni so dobil zon, ko so bili tam, ja. Tako da Trulex ne imel hajta.
Strikes down below. They're doing really well. Verox is able to survive the storm.
Hajt je
They're
mrtev.
still alive. They're still being consistent.
Pač vsi tega so na top 10 morajo čim prej umreti. Benji še živ, pa cel trio.
Towards ETQ, so all that height pressure they absorb and they use to push further and further away from Trulex.
And Hen got knocked and eliminated in the feed, so it's up to Janice and Chapix to hold on true for that top trio.
Reason's still alive though. He's all on the backside, moving in the max distance zone rotation. Close for him, but I'm not sure how much more he can sort of survive with an RPG right above. Trulex is still RPGing.
Zadnja raketa je RPG-ov. O, spet hočejo hajt.
Oh my goodness.
Tako so dobil hajt.
They have it, but at how much mat cost would it be? What will the receipts say once we take a look at their builds?
To so pa roketi, chat.
Can they hold on? And you're looking at the second from high.
Preveč je močen rocket launcher. A se zdaj niso z roketom neki punari, ampak so veliko materialov so jim pokurala, ne? Pa s tem, da oni niso se upali pol boriti za hajt, ker ne vejo, koliko ima še raket oni. Benji dobil knock. Za Benji je že od trio sem edini vesel, ko dobijo kile. Če ni v TaySona pa od K1nzell-a.
Verox, one teammate down too, has to operate off a duo. Leo getting a few picks, ETQ goes down, and past that, CRR gets knocked for the second time this game.
I saw that they're below Storm Surge at height. We have to take a look at that going further here as Anas gets eliminated. Reason is still on his feet and gets a knock on Chapix. Reason is clutching for the trio here. And Andalix
Reason je Ugveja ubil.
Chapix gets down and gets eliminated by Reason. Reason is going out and full super Nova baby.
He's got full
Reason klača solo model. Benji dobil knock, Benji knockan, Metzel knockan. Sam še Amplify je.
It's about the surge these guys can cause, the chaos off their shots and position. What is the decision they will make in this moment is the question.
Hen, Janice, and Chapix are out. First place is out, so Amplify, Matzo, and Benji, who
Benji
lost
mrtev.
Now
A
it's
ga
up to
Amplify.
Amplify to clutch by himself.
Reason je umrl lihkar. Sam je full poklačil, dobil im je 6 placementov pa par killov. Trulex knockan. Pa Pink je tudi knockan, what?
Taken off of height. It's Artox who gets it. Pizza with the
Zakaj niso kazali? Kako so oni dobil height? What the fuck? Kako mi je to ratalo? Ni mi jasen.
Pizza Time has 4 elims, 7 elims total for the trio. Verox now the solo performance here with one elim there, has 16 builds, has to hold on, and Dreda is still alive in this fight. Cisse is doing well. Verox now on the low ground dealing with multiple people. Cammy's trio is still here, and on the backside,
Kako ga oni ubal?
Miro gets knocked and hit right in the jaw.
It's all 1-for-1, so the real team play is yet to be watched. Up high, it's a duo trying to operate. No Ardit for this one. Teak down below with Cammy. Has steady, so that's an advantage all the way in the mid-ground. Top 5 situation, the Harpoon making sure the builds stay healthy, and no next squeeze have to do it themselves too. It's a game of duos around one trio that might have control all the way down below. See how it ends up breaking down.
Nimata nič Metzel.
Into a big collision with Cisse. If you blinked, you missed it. He's gone. And now this trio has even more control to play with the lobby.
Cammy literally brought down that
enemy
down to their level and gets huge 2 purple tags here. This is the final
Kje so bi play Cammy pa te, chat?
Still 6 games going forward. Cammy said and Teak have been consistently at the end game. Can they close out with the victory royale? It's coming down to these moments here, Sayo.
Here we roll Cammy, 4 eliminations, 5 with Seti in total. Joe drops under the box. It's a huge finish for them to get. For the mats and the position and the attrition to survive. Seti is alive too. 2 trios and another. Looks like it's a 2v3 v1 right now. Who's the clutch individual? And can this trio make it? Cammy, slow, small edits. It's kind of chaotic, but he finds his way through.
Maš še ribe, sam, ama on heale slučajen.
I don't think they have the omega 3
Čisto one
to
dva.
make it past this one.
A so one dva iz hajta še živa?
Edit to go all the way up top as well.
Ja, pizza pa ta.
It's still a stalemate. Artox gonna drop down.
O, Artox je Seti je dobil.
Down by Seti, but trades. Pizza still alive on high ground. Big shots down below. Cammy has a med kit. Was it timed properly? It's gonna come down to the wire. It was.
Vratal mu je med kitace. What?
Can Pizza find him? He can't.
Kjer klač model. Kjer klač. Dajte GG so chat. Evo, takoj sekundica damo musko. O, fuck, zdaj, TaySona pa njegov trio so po mojem še bolj dol pada, zdaj, ko bomo pogledali. Sam da vam odberem chat, evo, takole, da pogledamo. Pogledamo lestvico. Prav, prvi so zdaj, Seti, Kami pa Tik so zdaj prvi. Vidite, kako hitro se spremeni. Kjeri so bili oni prej? Top 5 so bili, okej. Drugi so še vedno Benji, Fishy pa njegov trio. Janis, Ugvaj, Hen, tretji. Anas, Flick, Thomas, četrti. Peti, Vadil, Nova, Rizon. Pol imamo, tudi smo, te so zdaj že 8. TaySona pa te so še vedno 10. 86 točk. 86 točk. Imajo kar težek del, ne? Definitivno težek del. Rabijo odigrati en bolan game, da pridejo zraven, pa pol še en bolan game, da so na vrhu, ne? Tako da definitivno bo še kar. Bravo, Juško. Ok, sem zadovoljen za Benji Fish, ja, zelo. Za K1nzell-a mi je res žal, ker dejansko nimajo nobenega dobrega zona. Zdaj so 30, nobenega dobrega zona nimajo. TaySona mislim, da še lahko klača. Ok, čet, bom zdaj le jaz... Bom pol... Kako ne se še tle. Bom zdaj le dal en stream na schedule za jutro, ok? Tako da počakajte. Sam da ne nekaj odkril, sam mal. Ko ne vem, a tle je kaj tazga ali ne. Sam sekundico mi dajte. Se pravi, jutr je stream že ob 3 chat, ok? Oziroma 15 do 3. Mihek, si ne euro, evo, olej, TaySona 50 pik v zadnji, Turnik se pa dobil 50 pik prvi game, kaj je zmagal. Tako da jutr rabijo eno zmaga, pa so skozi top 10 pa imajo to. To je res, pač mora biti. Zdaj sam schedulam en stream chat. Sekundica. Prav, rekel sem... Ej, kva, jutr je nedela. 14. Ura 2:45 PM. Po thumbnail mislim, da že imam, oziroma čakajte. Moram, Denotes mi je naredil thumbnail, sam da ga najdem. Save. Ko nočem nekaj likat, chat, zato moram takole narediti. Takole. Changeamo thumbnail. Tako se pravi. Turnir za edit. In pavka. Plus. Ob 19. KNCS. Finale. Dan B. Ok. To imamo vse pošlihtan. Bom takoj pošeril. Sam moram zamenjati še koda, ok? Sekundica. Tukaj damo da... Tega ga bomo dali, ok, to da ne bo... sem zamenil. Ok, dal sem na schedule, zdaj vam bom sam pošeril. Da greste zdaj že lajkat, ok? Da boste zdaj že lajkali. Se pravi, takole, evo. Jutr imamo zelo dolg stream, chat. Jutr imamo zelo dolg stream. Evo, tukaj le... zakaj to dela? Evo, tle imate link v chatu, pejte stisniti like. Za danes je to, jutr bo zelo dolg. Jutr začnemo 15 do 3, končamo tako kot danes. Tako da bo zelo dolg stream. Jutr ima, da pridemo do 3 ure lajkov, chat, imamo to. Grem jaz sam, ta YouTube je čuden, kakor že eni veste. In moram zdaj tole... Thumbnail moram kar večkrat kdaj dati. Po neki logiki, da ga tam zazna. Kaj meni ga tle zazna, sam tukaj ga pa neko, kar vidite. Tole. Tole. Ok, save. Evo, če... Je še kar ali kaj? Evo ga, dela. Aj, folk, to je to, hvala vsem, ki ste gledali, stisnite tle like, šerite nakol za tale stream, pa se vidimo jutr 15 do 3, ok? Tako da hvala še enkrat vsem, tam imate link, pejte lajkat, da bo že pred streamom ene 500 lajkov. Vzajmo vam 10 sekund časa, pa se vidimo jutr, ok? Pa valjda, dejte si zvončka, tako da to je to, uživite, adio Bigs, pa se vidimo jutr, ok? Ajde, čau folk, hvala vam.